Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I loved it. My name's Jay Milne. #Blue. Our sports update deliverer. The Coon.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today.
You know what, Reid? You might be honest. All right, here's what's going on in the nest.
Big dumper. Big dumper won it. What are you laughing at? You know we're going to talk about the big dumper.
How can't we talk about the big dumper?
Big dumper won. That was the only sport going on last night.
The big dumper.
The big dumper.
Dumped.
Hit him far. Home run derby. That's what we're talking about.
Of course.
They could dump all over that derby. Pretty amazing.
What a nickname.
That is a pretty good nickname. I just read on Wikipedia. Rowley's big dumper nickname was popularized by a former teammate who started using it in 2020, tweeted it in 2021 when Rowley was promoted to the Mariners. Rowley's mother said she thinks the nickname, quote, stinks, but appreciates fan support for her son.
I think it's a fitting name.
Yeah, I mean, you can use it in a lot of different circumstances.
Sure.
So he won, though. Cal Rowley won the home run derby.
Did you see the videos that were coming out and circulating social media feeds after the fact?
No.
I believe he was a 10-year-old.
A little dumper.
Declaring that one day he'd win the home run derby.
And he did it.
In a home video.
He did it.
Fantastic. Byron Buxton did his job.
So what was your bet wager again with Buxton? What was yesterday's Jays play of the day? New one coming up at 3:40 this afternoon, by the way, for Play Alberta.
It was Byron Buxton to make the semis, which he did. He qualified as with the third most home runs in the first round. So yeah, we cashed. We're looking to cash again tonight. We're sticking in the same category.
Well, the choices might be limited today.
There's not much else on, Reid.
So did you watch the entire derby?
I watched. I had a coach's wrap-up get-together for flag football last night, which was phenomenal.
Good.
And a little side note, this Friday on the Hangout, Lori, who runs the Sherwood Park Flag Football League, is going to be on the Hangout. So she's going to, it's a pretty neat story as how she came to running it in Sherwood Park and how successful it's been. But we had a little get together. So I was watching it, trying to still be engaged in conversation, knowing that Jay's play of the day was happening right in front of me. And then I went home and watched the rest of it. It was very entertaining. I've always been entertained by the home run derby. And to have Cal Rowley's dad pitching him the ball,
right,
and his brother catching the ball. And there were several points throughout the broadcast that the microphones picked up his brother catching. And it was just so supportive, like, yeah, ooh, like, she gone.
I did not see any of his at-bats.
It was fun.
I saw Buxton and a couple other people in the first round. And then when I was back in front of the TV, I think I had it on during one of the semis, but I didn't really watch it. And then I sat down and watched Caminero hit after Dumper already had hit 18. But I'm just reading Dumper advanced on a tiebreaker by less than a foot.
Yes.
Or way less than half a foot.
Yeah, over Rooker, who came out after.
0.96 of an inch he advanced by.
Who came out after and said, if they have access to these numbers, to the decimal point, why aren't they using it throughout the whole, the whole process? Not at the end when it's like, they're probably like, oh, Cal Rowley's the favorite. Let's just say he won by, 0.96
and
of an
it's all
inch.
digital how they're measuring it.
Yeah, but how do you know? What if a guy catches it,
Did you see the, did see the kid that caught the home run? Like he reached above the fence and caught it, and they still, I can't even remember who, that might have been one of Caminero's.
It was.
Yeah. And it was a line drive homer. It was a line drive shot to left, And the kid, well, they're teens, most of them back there shagging the balls. He reached up and caught it as it was going over the fence. They still awarded the home run.
But the Mariners put a picture up of him on their social feed saying, "God bless this child," or like pretty much like, "Way to go, bud." It was an entertaining night. I think the home run derby, in terms of all-star events, is one of the best. 'Cause you're not getting any of those guys taking a swing off.
Right.
Like they're giving it all they've got, which is rare in an all-star competition. There's a lot of people, especially in the NBA, it seemed, it's a little bit too cool for school. Well, pretty lazy efforts.
Right.
But this is you're going for it. I love it.
It was fun. I watched bits and pieces of it. I wasn't going to put everything else on the shelf to watch it. But yeah, so Rooker was edged out in the first round by Dumper by, Wikipedia says, 0.96 of an inch, 2.4 centimeters. So, and then poor Jazz Chisholm Jr. Hit 3 home runs.
Not a good look, Jazz.
That's tough.
For a guy with the name of Jazz Chisholm Jr., I would have expected at least double digits. That was embarrassing, Jazz.
He's way out of it. It was cool, though, that you can pick who throws for you. I know they've been doing that for a while.
Sure.
But it's not as if, okay, everybody has to use the same pitcher or you have to use your batting coach. Use your dad. Have whoever throw it in there.
Well, and to Big Dumper's credit, his dad, Senior Dumper, was all over the map with his throws. If you look at the pitch track, because Dumper wants it high and inside. He turns on it and pulls it down the line.
Right.
And his dad was... Like there was a couple that they said on the broadcast he tomahawked it was way out of the strike zone.
Right.
But I mean they've been pitching together and his dad is has quite a coaching history. I think he was a assistant coach at Syracuse.
I think he coached at Tennessee. I think he might have been the head coach at Tennessee.
Yeah, was it?
Anyway, but yeah, he's a NCAA coach basically. So
that was fun.
That was a home runner. And then the All-Star games tonight. So that's going to be Jay's play of the day. Will be All-Star game centric.
Related? Yes.
Related. Okay. Jasmine in the nasty chat says Jazz is a cool name. I don't call her Jazz.
I don't believe I've ever called her Jazz either.
Somebody must.
I bet you her friends would call her Jazz.
Yeah, probably.
Or Jazzy.
Jazzy. Mine. Minnie. Something like that.
Something like that.
Hey, hope everybody's having a great afternoon. He is Jason Milne. I am Reid Wilkins. We are on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Presented by Play Alberta. Gaming made easy anytime, anywhere. With Play Alberta, you have a full casino experience right at your fingertips. Play from your phone, tablet, or computer whenever it works for you. Download the Play Alberta app today. Get started with a $50 casino bonus. Deposit $20 with the promo code EST Casino. Play smart, play local, and remember to use your game sense. So here's what we're going to do today. Well, we're going to do a lot of different things today. We're going to have some very fun, perhaps silly discussion about a couple of things. We may keep using the word big dumper as often as Jed Roberts is going to be on. We should ask him the oddest or weirdest nickname he or a teammate ever had.
That's a great one.
I don't know if that's kind of putting him on the spot.
Well, there's not too many days of the year you get to openly use big dumper.
Right.
So I say we lean into it. We could declare this Big Dumper Day.
It's Big Dumper Day on Edmonton Sports Talk. We will have part 2. We're doing it every day this week. It's Ref Week here on the Reid Wilkins Show. So we're profiling an official, a referee. We started yesterday with local umpire Corey Davis, who started umping when he was 11 to get slushy money. Is that what it was called? The slush puppy? A Slurpee? Slurpee money. And he's been doing it for 41 years. I mean, he's done, you were saying World Baseball Classic. He's done a bunch of national, international tournaments, does Riverhawks, did Trappers when they were here. He was awesome. Today at 4:00, we have Karen Lasuik on the show, who is an elite basketball official.
Very.
I mean, she has done Canada West games. And look, like it or not, there are certain, gender things that happen in sports. Usually, men ref men's basketball. And then women's basketball, at least from what I was calling Bears and Pandas and from what I watch, sometimes it's men, sometimes it's women. She was the rare woman who would ref Golden Bears games when I was calling Canada West games. Okay. I know when I always feel sensed, like when I bring up some of this, I'm afraid I'm going to say something that's going to offend people, but there are certain realities that I'm just pointing out, whether they're fair or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually men ref men's basketball. At least that's how it's been. And then the women's game, it might be a mix of women and men. But she would ref Golden Bears games. She lives just outside of Edmonton, and she'll tell the whole story, but she refs Division I basketball in the States. And in 2016, which is when I first met her, she refed at the Olympics. She refed women's Olympic basketball. So she's an extremely accomplished, high-level referee. And very impressive to talk to. I think I know we're both going to enjoy this interview.
Yeah. And that you'll see it now in junior football. I know there's a head ref in the PFC that's a female.
Right.
It's just things are changing.
Right.
Which it should. I mean, if you are good enough to do the job, why not? That shouldn't matter in that position.
Right.
So, and I guarantee you, Reid, when you were calling those games at Canada West and she was on the court, she was probably one of the most
she's in
respected.
Command. Oh, absolutely.
Referees.
Yeah, that wasn't. And look, I know there's all this. What do they call it? The diversity and equity, and some people. Oh, you're giving people a chance who don't deserve a chance.
Not her.
That's not her.
Yeah,
she's an elite referee. So it's going to be good to talk to her. I haven't talked to her for a while. I know we spoke a little bit last week, but we hadn't talked a lot about her career stuff recently. But she did say, during the basketball season, she's flying down to the United States to ref Division I.
Crazy.
So they don't have to pick a Canadian.
No,
to do that in the States.
It's a great point.
So
it's a great point.
Yeah.
But that's just the command she has and the respect she's got over the years of doing this job.
She's also. Do you want to tease who's coming up tomorrow, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, well, sure. Why not? Reached out to an old friend of mine, an old teammate of mine, who's now a head ref in the CFL, Justin McInnes. We played Team Alberta together. He graduated from Harry Ainley in '99, the same year I graduated from Bev Facey. We played Team Alberta. We played Wildcats. And then he went on to start reffing, and you'd start see him popping up on CFL sidelines. You'd see him. He was, I'm sure, we can ask him about this tomorrow, but I'm sure he started on the stick crew at some point, right? I mean, but he just kept at it. And now he's at the highest position in Canadian football that you can be at as a head referee in the CFL. So he's coming on tomorrow.
Can I ask him about pass interference? He doesn't call pass interference a lot, maybe ever in the referee's position.
Well, that's a great question, Reid. Like, what is the hardest position to referee on that field? Like,
right.
What's the hardest? And I would probably say umpire, which is a guy right in the mix.
Okay.
On the defensive side, kind of lines up near the linebackers.
Didn't they move the ump? Or is that in the NFL they move the ump to the offensive backfield? Or is it only on certain downs?
I think it changes, Reid.
Okay.
But that's hard. You got to watch so much that's going on with the line activity.
Right.
But even still, like a side judge or a back ref, I mean, you have to be able to see things. You have to be able to see through the play to the other side and just figure out what's happening. Right. Even though their backs are turned to you.
I love the stuff. And look, we're pretty lucky to have a current official on the show.
Yes.
Because as we've talked about, a lot of they often don't do interviews. Now, having said that, when Justin's on tomorrow, well, I mean, people can write in whatever they want. But if you're writing, hey, Reid, Jay, Justin ref the game last year between Winnipeg and BC, and I thought he called holding on number 54 when it wasn't holding. Can you, we're not going to do that.
That's not what it's about.
But I'd like to ask him, and I love this part of the game about, and we got some good stuff yesterday from Corey Davis about little interactions on the field.
Yep.
If a player's mad at you, what's acceptable? When a coach challenges, what's the best way for that coach to communicate to you? How detailed do you expect the coach to be? Like when they say, hey, I'd like to challenge that for pass interference. Like if I were the coach, I would want to say,
how should I be challenging this?
Yes. I'd want the eye in the sky to say,
this could happen.
Right. Or I would say, hey, I'm challenging pass interference. Their number, what's a DB number? 24?
Sure. On
our receiver number 81, he hooked his right arm inside our guy's left elbow.
Yeah.
Because then when whoever the ref is talking to the command center, he could say, okay, they're challenging for PI. And the guy at the command center would say, sorry, Justin, I don't see anything. But then the ref would say, okay, just to let you know, this is what the coach, because I'm the coach, I want any little advantage I could get. Or sometimes is it a fishing expedition by the coach? Hey,
I think so.
He grabbed him.
Well, and it could be, maybe coach, maybe you shouldn't challenge that. Maybe you should be challenging more this. You know what I mean? Like
right.
The wording may be aside, but maybe this is what you should focus on to get the results you want.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. Because we saw that challenge last week when Edmonton was playing the Rough Riders and there was a fumble on the 2-yard line by Tre Ford that turned into a touchdown.
Oh, that play. Yeah.
And they were saying, well, is he challenging that this was a fumble? No. But maybe you should look earlier in that play and realize it was roughing the passer,
right,
which eliminates all of this.
Because the turnovers should be automatically reviewed.
It is.
Right. So the league looked at whether or not it was actually a fumble, but then Killam and the Elks said, hold on, he got hit in the head.
Yes.
Right.
And Dusty was on that broadcast too, and he knew what Killam was doing, but he's in a tough spot. I talked to him about it on the Lock Shop because you can't just outwardly say, oh, Killam should be challenged, because what if Killam doesn't? And then Dustin, the guy that's calling the game, is saying what he should have done and he didn't. It would create quite a controversy.
Anyway, so today, Karen Lassuk, longtime basketball referee, and then tomorrow, Justin McInnes. We have a couple hockey-themed officials coming up later on in the week, and we may find somebody in the nasty chat. And somebody wants a professional wrestling referee on the show.
Do you know
from
one?
Big Maple? That could be fun. If they did it in character for 3 or 4 minutes, I don't know if we'd go as long.
Like you're talking like there's wrestling
like
down at the Allendale Hall.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
yes, we need that.
Yeah. Like, why are you so slow to count to 3? I'm telling you, Reid, it's so hard to get in there. These guys are trying to kneecap me.
That would be phenomenal.
So Karen Lasuik for Ref Week at 4 o'clock. Jed Roberts on the Elks and other things going on in life coming up at 5. We're going to have some comments from the new assistant coach of the Edmonton Oilers, Paul McFarland. He was on Dusty's show this morning. That'll be part of the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel. Jay's play of the day is around 3:40. Oh, and in a few minutes after the first break, we got a very emotional and honest message from a very disappointed Edmonton Elks fan, and we want to break down some of the things that this individual said to us. You can get in touch, first of all, by emailing either jay@edmontonsportstalk.com or reid@edmontonsportstalk.com. Bronco Nick, I know the former FIFA referee you're talking about, and we may try to wrangle him as well. I'm pretty sure I know who he's talking about because there's one who I think is still in Edmonton. You can post in the nasty chat like Bronco Nick and Big Maple and others are doing. That's the chat stream we have on YouTube. I always tell people new to the station, get us on YouTube, post in the nasty chat. You do not have to be a nasty person or say nasty things. We just call it the nasty chat. And while you're on YouTube, if you haven't already subscribed to the station, give us a thumbs up as well. We try to get to at least 100 thumbs every show. You can text 780-218-9999. That's the afternoon inbox presented by River Crib Resort and Casino, featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. We like to talk about other things that are going on in the world, other things that might be fun for people. And our colleague Jasmine, who's always active in the chat, and she's on the Hangout tomorrow. She was like, hey, Reid, the Emmy nominations came out. If you're looking for TV shows to watch, I have not seen many of them. I like watching stuff. I don't have a lot of time to do it. Outstanding comedy series. I've actually seen 2 of the 8 that are nominated. What We Do in the Shadows, the vampire documentary show, and Only Murders in the Building. That's the one with Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez.
Okay.
It's a fun show. Though actually, I didn't think this season was quite as good. The Outstanding Drama Series. Oh, I've seen one of those. Andor is nominated.
I've not
and
seen
I saw
any
Paradise, but I don't think Paradise should be nominated, quite frankly. It was kind of disappointing. So I've seen a quarter of the nominated shows. Not bad. But then Jay and I were talking, what could we do for the off-topic topic, presented by William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. Here it is. We think this is going to be good. What TV show that is no longer in production would you like to see one more season of? So, you know, like a 6 to 12 episode season, something like that. Maybe not like 20 like they used to do. So what TV show that's basically no longer on the air would you like to see one more season of? And why, I guess, or what do you see happening in it?
I mean, for me, this one is a no-brainer because this is one of my top shows that I've ever watched, series, however you want to call it. but it would be The Sopranos. Because the way it ended, spoiler alert, there's
now.
not
You
really
can
much of
spoil
a
it,
spoiler because nobody really truly knows what happened. There's speculation as to what happened. The writer has come out and said, well, maybe this, but there's been no definitive evidence of what happened to Tony Soprano in the final diner scene. So even if Tony Soprano was knocked off, another season to see how the family reorganized and regrouped, and was it Paulie Gutierrez that took over the family? Who, how did that happen, or did the family just, crumble?
Right.
Essentially. What happened to his wife? What happened to the kid? All those.
So was Tony the Don? Was he the mafia Don by the end?
Yes.
Was he always that, or did he rise to that during the course
he took over from his uncle Junior Soprano,
Oh, okay.
who had dementia and he got sick and
Needed to
whatnot.
be replaced. Okay.
But Tony, well, no, it wasn't. It was. Anyways, there was 2 Dons before him, and he rose to the top. But that would be the one for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, James P. says MASH.
Very popular show in its day, for sure.
Glenn Imlek says Seinfeld.
Does it, though? Do you see on social media people post Seinfeld plots, but as if the show was happening today? Because when Seinfeld was on, there wasn't the tech. They didn't have cell phones.
True.
And all the bits they could have done with cell phones. One person put something along the lines of Kramer is an Uber driver, but doesn't have a car. So he borrows Jerry's car. And then Jerry unexpectedly needs a ride when he doesn't have a vehicle, and Kramer is the Uber driver.
Oh, that would be great.
And he still charges Jerry for the ride.
Of course.
Yeah, of course he would. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of work. VR Montenegro. I would love to see, or like to see, another season of Person of Interest or Firefly. Firefly's getting some love.
I think Firefly will come up a lot.
What? I've never seen it.
I've watched a couple episodes of it. It didn't last very long, but it's one of those shows. So Nathan Fillion's in it, and I think it's kind of remembered for being botched and not supported by the studio. I think they released the episodes out of order, so the story didn't necessarily make sense or something like that.
On purpose?
No, I think they thought, well, this episode's better than this one, so we'll put it earlier, even though I think it was something like that. And I believe there are fewer than 20 episodes total. But yeah, it kind of has a cult following because it was a popular show that kind of wasn't supported very well by whoever was making it. I think that's sort of the storyline of Firefly.
I think Entourage could also be greenlit again.
Even after the movie?
Yeah, because the movie wasn't really in lockstep with the show.
Oh, okay.
The show was about Vinny Chase and his boys. And now maybe Vinny's married or Johnny Drama's, something like that. I think it could have another season. Not saying seasons, but it could do another season.
So my suggestion is going to be Littlest Hobo. So hear me out on this.
Classic.
So you know how Gager and I have praised the show Andor, and when Jamie Thomas was on, because it was a Star Wars show for people like me who fell in love with Star Wars, even preschool. And then we're always hoping to recapture that magic. And then you realize, well, but they're still making shows for 4-year-old me. They finally made an Andor for 51-year-old me, right? And people in Gagers in my age range. So Littlest Hobo, but it's for adults, and it's got a bit of a grittier edge to it. So maybe it's like 8 to 10 episodes, and they're not one-offs. There's a through line, and maybe like Littlest Hobo is chasing somebody, and maybe like Littlest Hobo is has a terminal illness, and he has to solve something before he figures it out, or like he's slowly getting rabies or something like that, and he's got to figure this out before he goes rabid.
What if they went
be like Cujo meets the Littlest Hobo?
What if they brought a voice to the Littlest Hobo?
Yeah, he'd have to have a narrator.
Narrator.
Yes,
a narrator.
You'd hear his internal dialogue. He wouldn't be able to talk, but you'd hear him. He'd have a voiceover narration.
What if it was like a combination of the Littlest Hobo and Dexter, where he was a murderous dog that would kill evil people?
Twist. Yeah, that's the twist. Yeah. Now instead of Littlest Hobo, trying to solve crimes. He's trying to get away with crimes.
But he's
that's
killing the
more
bad
adult
people.
version.
He's killing the bad people.
But he's still in himself. Yeah.
And hiding them in under rocks and
He's
stuff.
hiding, and then there's like a bumbling human detective.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean. You
Yes.
can combine
Rowan
Mr.
Atkinson
Bean. Combine
and-
Mr.
yes.
Bean. So, yes, Mr. Bean tries to track down the list.
I think we just created a hit.
I think we finally have
We've got it.
our $1 million baby.
But what would it be called?
Bean versus Hobo.
I like it.
Yeah.
And it's just a picture of Hobo with like blood dripping down his face. It's like this ain't the littlest hobo.
No,
That would be the title.
Yeah, he ain't little no more. Well, that's bad grammar. That's really bad grammar. Okay.
It's okay.
780-218-9999 is how you text us. The River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Jed Roberts coming up at 5. Ref Week with Karen Lassuk at 4. And a very emotional email from a heartbroken Elks fan when we get back.
Newly hired Oilers assistant coach Paul McFarland and goaltender coach Peter Aubry joined EST today, having McFarland check in on the Nielsen Show, chatting about his role with the team, his pathway into coaching, expressing his excitement to get going with the Oilers, while Aubry shared his approach to coaching a goaltending tandem and what he's been doing to prep for the upcoming season. From Utah, Michael Carconi has signed a 1-year league minimum deal in Utah with the Mammoth. 1-year extension. He had 19 points in 53 games with the team last season. And in NFL news, Trey Smith re-ups in Kansas City on a 4-year, $94 million contract, becoming the highest paid interior lineman in league history. Meanwhile, 24-year-old Sauce Gardner gets the bag as the league's highest paid cornerback, getting a 4-year deal worth over $120 million total with the Jets. NBA Summer League action. There's 7 games. Raptors battle the Nuggets. OKC plays Orlando, while the Trailblazers duke it out against the Pelicans. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding areas since '93. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, they have plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. The Reid Wilkins Show continues on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
2 guys and a goalie.
Who was your best goalie coach? Which goalie coach did you like the most or helped you the most?
Magnus Jonsson in Sweden.
Okay. Now, why? Why him?
He just got me. Come over, we'd talk after games, good or bad. And Sweden, I mean, they're fanatics with working out, right? So, like, before practice, we'd be working out and doing, like, training and stuff. It was crazy.
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Win a trip to Osheaga with the Banquet in Aperol. We're sending one lucky guest to Montreal with flights, hotel, and 2 tickets to one of Canada's hottest music festivals. Enter by July 26. Details in store or on the Banquet app. Get real. Play hard.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Summer in Edmonton means 3 things: warm weather, long nights, and plenty of sports. From the lake to the links, you can boost your summer fun with hundreds of casino games, live betting on your favorite sports teams, and access to popular lotteries. All in one app, anywhere in the province. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code YAG50 to claim a $50 free bet. That's promo code YAG50 for a $50 free bet on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Kayaks, bikes, camping gear? Make space for summer fun with Sentinel Storage. Spend more time on adventures with your outdoor gear and less time looking for them. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca.
What's this one called? Da 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 da.
Graduation song, the grad song.
Is this from Brody or North Shore?
Brody, I believe, but we re-recorded it with North Shore because it was such a international hit.
Oh, you have to do it again.
Yeah. I sang this at our grad acoustic.
Did you really?
With our guitarist.
Oh, cool.
Actually, he was our bass player, but he could play the acoustic guitar.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, good for you guys.
Thank you.
That's incredible. You have such an artistic past.
Well,
and present, quite frankly.
Well, thank you. I look back on those. My mom showed me some pictures of that event, our grad, and boy, the outfits.
Did you like looking at that stuff?
I don't mind. Yeah, I'm like half of the man I am now, literally. I was a little dude.
But you played football.
I know.
You were big and mean.
When I graduated high school, I was 5'10" and I weighed like $165.
Oh, wow. But you were muscular, though. You were solid rock.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I bloomed late. Let's just say that.
Jay and I are in the banquet studio. Celebrate your birthday at the banquet bar. Amazing drinks, great vibes, and unforgettable memories. Book your party today at thebanquetbar.com. Okay, the off-topic topic. So we'll compile some of these and go back to it a little bit later on. We already got some good ones coming in. Which TV show that is no longer in production would you like to see one more season of? Jay, right off the top, said Sopranos. We've had House. We've had the OA. We've had Seinfeld. We've had the Littlest Hobo was ours. Person of Interest. I never watched that. Watchmen. That'd be cool to have another season of Watchmen. Baywatch from the Big Uke. Not necessarily for the plot, he says. Another note for Entourage. Whole bunch of stuff. Space Above and Beyond. Wow, we're getting some good stuff. Fringe. I used to watch that show. That's a pretty good show. Nothing to do with the theater festival. It's a show called Fringe. So keep those coming and give us a why or how you see the plot going. Like how we clearly outlined the Mr. Bean Littlest Hobo murder crossover.
That would be a great crossover.
That'd be incredible. So the Elks are on a bye week, so they probably won't lose this week. I hate to take that shot at them, but I did have a buddy in my CFL pool email me after I sent out the standings for this week saying, can I pick the Elks to lose to the bye? It looked like that, let's face it, after a really disappointing game against the Lions on Sunday. So I recognize this person's name, and this was somebody who's been writing into and listening to my shows since I was doing Inside Sports, and they go by the handle of Red Dog.
Okay.
And this is actually somebody that wouldn't write in that off, but you know what it's like with some of our listeners. Like, look, we can't remember everybody or everything you said, but sometimes certain things stand out. And I remember Red Dog. I think this is the first time he's written into the Reid Wilkins show, and he would periodically write into me at Inside Sports. And when he had something to say, he had something to say. You know, so I tend to remember his stuff because you could tell he kind of took time to write it. It wasn't just off the cuff or just putting something into a chat. He would sit down and write something. So I got this in my email just after 6 yesterday. And I thought, I wonder if he knows that I changed stations. I was like, hey, cool. Like, my show's at 3 now. And he said, yes. He goes, I just was busy working during the day. So I know I'm sending it in after your show. But I think we're still going to read it because it's pretty heartfelt. I think he's pretty upset / hurt about the plight of the Elks. And he might have some things that resonate with audience members who are tuning in right now. Okay? Here is Red Dog's email. After sitting in the stands and watching that performance, it is clear the Elks are not close to competing in the CFL West. BC didn't even have to break a sweat to dismantle an underprepared and overwhelmed Elks team that seemed to figure because they had one win at home against the worst team in the East, they had finally arrived on the big stage. The only aspect of the game the Elks competed in was punting, and that is because our punter has so much game experience, he is likely our team MVP to this point. Now we're once again faced with the fact 5 games into the season, the playoffs are not attainable. Now what? Is the Tre Ford experience over? Is the coaching staff overwhelmed? Is it both? The defense that Ed Hervey assembled to shut down all the non-superstar wide receivers in the league is getting beat badly. The all-stars that Ed brought in can't touch the quarterback unless it's roughing the passer, and now the one bright spot has been carted off the field on a gator. Serezna, though we believe Serezna's probably okay.
Yes.
Anyway, there is no hope waiting in the wings. Fajardo's best days are behind him, and instead of drafting a QB of the future, Mr. Hervey drafted a player who was promptly suspended for a year. Well done. He did do that.
Mm-hmm.
He did talk about it, but he did do that. The last little buzz left in Edmonton isn't for the on-field product. It's for when the team name will get changed to the Elks. The only thing our fan base has left to cheer about is, 1, it only takes 30 seconds to get a beer at the concession and get back to your seat to see the Elks punting again or the opposing team kicking a point after. Number 2, well, I know Red Dog doesn't like the Riders, so he took a shot at them here. We have all of our fingers and we don't have to wear watermelons on our heads to feel cool. All right, we'll ignore that last part. But I wanted to read his whole email. That is from Red Dog. Well, I mean, he's clearly disappointed.
Yeah.
He clearly cares about the team. But I think he also makes some points I think that you and I have been making. He may and other listeners have been making. He may not make them using from the exact same angle or using the exact same language, but let's go through it. First sentence. The Elks are not close to competing in the CFL West. I have that concern as well.
Yeah, how could you say they are? Not right now, anyways.
The Elks seem to figure that because they held on to win against the worst team in the East, they had finally arrived in the big stage. I would debate that. I would certainly hope the Edmonton Elks were not overconfident against the BC Lions.
Well, that was passive. A game that most people had circled as a winnable game in the first 5-6 weeks.
Right.
That was a game that, okay, if you're not going to have if this is not going to completely fall off the rails, you have to get that win against Ottawa. But yeah, I don't necessarily think it went to their head and they thought they're Grey Cup contenders at that point.
5 games into the season, are the playoffs attainable? Now what? Is the Ford experience over? Is the coaching staff overwhelmed? Is it both? So, and that's a really sad thing for me, is that 1-4 in and of itself is not a great record. And then you look at the standings, and it's not like the rest of the West is, well, maybe one team's 5-0, and then every other team has 2 or 3 wins. So you're thinking, well, 3rd or 4th is there for the taking. Like I've been saying, the Elks probably have to get to 8-10 to have a chance to make the playoffs. A chance. That's going 7-6 the rest of the way.
That's the one comment, Reid. The fact that 5 games into the season, the playoffs are not attainable. That's not true. Playoffs are attainable in the form of a crossover.
Probably the best, right? Because Toronto, is it both Toronto and Ottawa have one win?
1-4, 1-5. I mean, you've got the same record as the Elks. The Red Blacks are even worse.
But you still have to get up to 4th in the West, though.
Well, you have. I mean, yeah, but it is attainable. There is a path, right?
But you have to play about 1,000 times better than you did against the Lions.
True.
Is the Tre Ford experience over? I don't know if we'll spend a ton of time on that because we talked about it a lot yesterday, and we will be talking about it a lot. Maybe. Is the coaching staff overwhelmed? Maybe. Maybe
they could be. Yeah.
Maybe they're showing signs of inexperience. It doesn't mean that they are horrible coaches. It doesn't mean that they're never going to be excellent coaches. I mean, I always go back to this, and not everything that happened in another market is relatable here. I'm just saying as evidence, Mike O'Shea, fans wanted him fired shortly before they brought in a certain quarterback who wears number 8. That helped a lot.
Yeah, and look, I don't think Mark Killam's the issue. I don't necessarily think J.C. Sherritt's problematic or Jordan Maximic isn't the guy. It's just I guess the person that I would point the finger at most is Jordan McSimic, because he's been in an offensive coordinator role at the CFL level. Mark Killam's not been a head coach. J.C. Sherritt has not been a defensive coordinator.
Right.
I have really been frustrated with the play calling of Jordan McSimic.
Yeah, fair enough.
Simply put.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to necessarily break down every play. I mean, the special teams are legitimately better than the last couple of years. Yeah, for sure. So I guess we got to acknowledge that. This is what Red Dog wrote. We're just going through his email. The defense that Ed Hervey assembled to shut down all the non-superstar wide receivers in the league is getting beat badly. I mean, is it fair to keep bringing that up that Ed said that?
Yes and no, because he did say it. But Edmonton's last in the CFL in sacks made. They're second last in pass knockdowns. They're last in forced fumbles. You know, every defensive category, they're last in except opponent rush yards and knockdowns.
So, and the secondary, so early on in the season, the secondary was getting beat deep. They have cleaned that up by giving up underneath throws. Against a quote-unquote inferior team like Ottawa, you get up and make tackles.
Yeah.
Against Rourke, it's like, oh, I can see what you're doing, but I can still get the ball to the sticks and get a first down. So that's, you know, they're not good enough to beat the best guy in the league, or one of the best.
And one of the best D linemen from last year, Noah Curtis, got put on the 6th game, and I think he's done for the year.
Right.
At Elks Fan Day. Right. So they're missing a big player. Robbie Anderson's out. Jake Serezna went out. Royce Metier went out last game. They're missing a lot of players. Now, you'd hope that the next man up mentality would rub off and it would, you know.
But they spent a lot of money on D, like Duck Dad is pointing that out.
Oh, Reid, that's a big problem.
Right.
That's
like there's a lot of, when they're this bad, and we touched on this yesterday, there's a lot of blame to go around. You can question the coaching. You can question how players are performing. I don't think that they were overconfident against the BC Lions, but you can question what was their attitude going into that game. And I think you can question some of the signings by Hervey. I mean, at this point, I think you have to question almost everything. Red Dog says no hope waiting in the wings. Drafting the player who was suspended for a year. I mean, Ed thought it was worth it. So he came on and said that. Could have he drafted Curtis Rourke? Well, I guess they could have drafted Curtis Rourke, right? He's still going to try to make the Niners.
Elgersma.
Right? Oh, right. Okay. The last little buzz left in Edmonton isn't for the on-field product. It's for when the name will get changed to the Elks. As you know, Jay, and I think most broadcasters in the city are, I'm tired of the name change discussion. Larry Thompson is an independent sole owner of the team. If he changes it, he'll change it. To me, it is not. It is irrelevant to the quality of the play on the field.
Yeah,
I know. I still see a lot of, well, they weren't this bad until they changed to Elks. Fair. It's a coincidence. It's not a cause and effect. Most of the players who've come up from the States in the last 5 years since they've been bad have no idea what the name was and has no bearing on how they play. I understand it's upset some of the fan base, but I'm not doing the same show I did 4.5 years ago, everybody. Sorry. I've done that show.
Is this fair to say that there's been more disappointment in the defense than there has been in the offense?
Maybe, because maybe there was the feeling that the offense still might struggle at times,
sure,
but the defense might keep you in it.
Yes.
You know,
absolutely.
Maybe the offense is struggling, but you're only down 13-10 going into the fourth, not whatever the heck it was on Sunday. Yeah, and then that's pretty much what he said. Then he made the jokes about the Riders fans and about how quickly you can go to the concessions. I think that's a very honest and heartfelt email. I think, again, it's a lot of things we touched on, but it's a very put together summary by Red Dog. I think from interacting with him in the past, he has season tickets to the team, or at least he had. So he cares. I mean, people talk about it because they care. Like, I always used to not laugh openly, but sort of internally when I was doing the end of the Decade of Darkness on Overtime Open Line with the Oilers, and people would call in and say, why should I care about this team? I'm never going to watch them again. I'd be like, well, okay. But like, I'm thinking to myself, if you call a radio show to say you don't care, you probably actually care quite a bit. So Red Dog is writing that because he cares. But here's the thing, Jay. Like if they're going to be pronounced, what's the right word? They're going to be underdogs, heavy underdogs in Saskatchewan, most likely. And if they lose, you're 1-5. So there's another third of this. And what have we seen here in the last few years? 0-7, 0-9. Like when they beat Ottawa, I know you were away that week, but I did all the results of all the June and July games since 2022. Like, they had a 19-game losing streak in June and July. And then they finally beat Ottawa. So, it's tough to...
I mean, they have Saskatchewan next, which, to Tre Ford's credit, he's played well against Saskatchewan. Tiger Cats, then the Alouettes, Argonauts, Red Blacks. There is a potential of 2 or 3 wins out of those games. There is. That's just a fact of the matter. It just depends on what team shows up.
But I think even against the other bad teams in the Elks, the other bad teams in the league, I don't feel I can be really confident that they're still going to win.
Well, how could you be right now?
Right, and that's what's tough.
They need to get that back into their fan base.
Yeah.
They need to show the fan base that they can compete. Not necessarily even win games, Reid. Like, this sounds crazy, but
I know. It's awful.
You might just want to say, hey, can you show the fan base that you can compete?
And that's the sad part.
Because that game was 31-14. That did not look like a 31-14
No, that game flattered Edmonton. That game flattered the Elks.
And it could have been 56-14.
I mean, like I said, if BC would have come out in the second half and said, if the coach would have gone in, who's the coach? Pierce?
Yeah.
If he would have gone in the second half and said, hey, guys, I think we can score 4 touchdowns in the second half. They probably could have. I think, didn't I say yesterday they only scored 8 points, which I was surprised they didn't score more. Instead, they just kind of bled the clock and shortened the game. But I feel as if Buck Pierce said, okay, guys, I want to hit 50 today. They probably could have done it.
Probably. They couldn't stop him.
Yeah. So we just wanted to share that email. And look, I know this might be a tough segment for some people to hear. And I don't like coming to work thinking, okay, let's heap on a team that's struggling, because I want them to do better. But I think we also have to acknowledge that this is a really tough time, tough few years for fans of the EEs. And so we don't want to ignore that. I mean, we're here for people's feelings, but I mean, Red Dog summed it up. Like, he wants to watch. I think he's one of those guys that'll watch every game, even when they're terrible. But again, are we sitting here after 5 games already writing off the postseason? Like, to me, a postseason appearance would have been a massive step forward this season, and it still would be if they somehow pull it off. Yeah. But now I'm wondering, where do you get the wins to pull it off?
Well, I'm just wondering how long the mediocrity continues, right? I get it. It's a new coaching staff. It's a different look. Tre Ford's your starter. But how long does that continue? Last year, they made a change. They fired Ben McAdoo as the offensive coordinator, and Jarius Jackson took over, right? Then,
that was a year and a half ago.
A year and a half. Sorry,
yeah, and then Jones got fired early last year. Yeah,
and there was, hey, that sparked something. I don't think it's fair to say gut this coach's room, because, like we both said, they're inexperienced. There needs to be growing pains, but there needs to also be some hope here.
Right.
This can't continue in such a hopeless manner. Smith TM14 in the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Red Dog, the 2011 BC Lions started 0-5 and won the Grey Cup. I understand that.
Wasn't Travis Lulay the quarterback?
Well, there you go. Right? And to me, that's where a question mark is. Although I appreciate the optimism, Smith TM14, but I'm sorry. I've said this since last year when everybody in Matt Iwanek, the president of the Tre Ford fan club, was crowning Tre Ford as the next best thing in the CFL. I didn't see it. I still don't see it. I'd love nothing else for me to eat my words about Tre Ford.
Yeah.
I'd love it, because that means that this team is successful. However, at this point, I'm sorry. I don't see it. You have to be a quarterback that wins games that are tight, or win games that you're competitive in. You have to find a way to get it over the finish line.
All right. Really appreciate the email from Red Dog. Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Jay at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. More on the Elks with Jed Roberts at 5 o'clock. It is Ref Week with Karen Lasuik at the top of the hour. Here comes the Coob with the Sports Update.
Newly hired Oilers assistant coach Paul McFarland joined the Nielsen Show this morning, expressing his excitement joining the team, saying, quote, "Our job as coaches is to always try and put players in positions of strength and to continue to build on their confidence." While on EST Afternoons, goalie coach Peter Aubry checked in, breaking down his approach in teaching netminders while recapping his path in teaching the game. While in Utah, Michael Carcone gets a one-year extension worth the league minimum with the Mammoth. For the Chiefs, Trey Smith inked a 4-year deal with $94 million. He now becomes the highest-paid interior lineman in NFL history. While out in New York, the Jets make Sauce Gardner the highest-paid cornerback in the NFL, giving him a 4-year deal, $60 million guaranteed, worth up to $120 million total. 7 games dot the NBA Summer League schedule. Minnesota plays Detroit. The Nets and Knicks throw down, while the Raptors take on the Nuggets. Toronto faces Denver at 6 o'clock. This sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods, help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Visit findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. The Reid Wilkins Show returns after a brief break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
The Oil Stream.
Yes, they were 12th this year. Look at the last 7 years. Don't cherry pick stats, okay? Look at the last 7 years. This is the best power play in the history of hockey. And you want to pick on it because it had a down year going 12th. Wake up. Wake up and look at the stats and watch the games.
You're the best.
I love
seriously. It. No, you're right.
The Oil Stream, presented by Boston Pizza. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons at noon. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Do you have pets? Horses? Chickens? Did the place you used to get your feed recently close down? Have no fear. Clover Bar Feeds is here. Whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or chickens, Clover Bar Feeds has you covered. Offering a large variety of food and feed, you can trust the experts at Clover Bar Feeds. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. This means you can expect nothing less than top-notch service and selection. Come visit them at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park or visit them online at cloverbarfeeds.com.
Everyone knows when you need a truck now, you call Dawn.
That's right. You call us, Frontier Cartage, when you need driver coverage or have a truck that's down.
You call Dawn from Frontier Cartage.
When you've got way more freight to move than you thought.
You call Dawn from Frontier Cartage.
When you need a truck that's available and ready to start anytime you need.
You call Dawn at Frontier Cartage, 587-222-5826. 587-222-5826.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know. All right, thanks a lot for tuning in this afternoon. Coming up in about 7 minutes or so, Ref Week resumes with Karen Lasuik. She's a great story, basketball ref. She's refed in the Olympics. She's a great talker and storyteller, too, so I think we're going to have an absolute blast with her. It is time now for our daily segment that has its own jingle.
It's Jay It's play, he's Jay, it's today. It's Jay's play of the day. It's Jay's play of the day. Jay's play of the day.
Presented by Play Alberta. You can skip the flight to Vegas because jackpots are just a tap away. Experience all the thrills of the casino right from your phone with Play Alberta. Download the app today. Deposit $20 using the EST exclusive promo code EST Casino for a $50 casino bonus.
Well, we did well last night in the MLB with the All-Star game hosting the, what do they call it? Like a bat swinging competition, a derby of some sort?
I think it's called the Home Run Derby.
The Home Run Derby.
Well, they might now call it the Dumper Derby.
The Dumper Derby. Byron Buxton cashed as he made the semifinals. So I'm going to stay there. Now, here's the thing. Here's the big deal you need to understand if you were riding with me on any of these, or not all of them. Sometimes I like to wander and take a bit of a shot. But anywhere else on any other line, the National League is favored to win. Now, it's an all-star game. Anything can happen. Last year, I think it went to a walk-off home run. The American League won it. Lower scoring game. But the National League is the favorite. And I figure it's because they have 42 all-star game appearances in their starting lineup, whereas the American League has 30.
Okay.
So they have more players that
experience.
Have been here, have done it. And in baseball, it means something. So this game, I feel like the National League will win. Now, it was minus 120, which is okay odds.
Okay.
But the difference here with Jay's Play of the Day and with Play Alberta is they boost these things for us.
Oh,
so
nice.
they boosted it to minus 110, which is much better odds than you will find anywhere else on any other site. You've got it here right in front of you. Jay's Play of the Day. The National League money line was minus 120. Now it is minus 110. Head over to playalberta.ca, click on sports, click on EST specials, and you'll see all four of the plays of the day right there. There's some feeling that this is going to be a lower scoring game.
Okay,
on the specials.
Really?
I think Dusty was saying like a high percentage of the more in recent history have been unders. So they're riding with that, which I don't mind. I decided to go a little bit of a different direction and get some pretty dang good odds at the same time. So we're seeing if we can keep hammering this. I did well when we stuck with the Chuck Wagons last week.
You did really well.
So we're sticking with the MLB All-Star festivities. National League, money line, minus 110.
All right. That's awesome, buddy. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Reid.
Well, I'm just saying. It's good. I'm trying to find the list of all the games now.
Are you riding with Jay tonight, Reid?
Yeah, I just put a little bit of money.
All right.
Just a little
Just
bit.
a sprinkle.
I'm a modest bettor.
It's a sprinkle. It's a sprinkle kind of night.
Any All-Star game ending in a tie after 9 regulation innings since 2002 will result in teams batting in a best-of-3 round home run derby. Because remember they had the one game they left it a tie because they were running out of players and everybody was mad. But they also don't want this exhibition game. I didn't realize that. So if it's tied after 9 innings, they have a little home run derby.
Well, and what Dusty did say in favor of the under is that you're not having pitchers pitch more than 1 inning, really.
Right.
So even though the National League, I guess this would be against my pick, but Paul Skeens is tearing it up, but he'll probably only get 3 outs.
So I'll just go backwards here from last year. Final scores in the All-Star game: 5-3, 3-2, 3-2, 5-2, 4-3, 8-6 in 10 innings. That was a higher one. 2-1 in 10, 4-2, 6-3, 5-3, 3-0, 8-0, 5-1, 3-1, 4-3, 4-3. I'm back to 2008 now. I guess 2005 was 7-5. 2004 was 9-4. So, yeah, a lot of these games are 7 runs or fewer. Interesting.
Before we get out, Terry M. in the chat. Sorry I'm late, guys. Unfortunately, earlier today, my 15-year-old snow dog passed away. Terry, I'm incredibly sorry to hear that. That sucks. Losing a pet sucks.
That's awful, man.
They're part of your family. We're both dog people, so we understand. Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming to us. We'll try to keep you smiling and informed and entertained today. Great guest coming up for Ref Week. Karen Lassuk next.
The Lock Shop.
Shout out to Dixon Sider in chat. He says, with Steve Ogilsang at CTV Winnipeg with Darren Drager, that probably would have been at the same time. Drager would have been more the reporter. And Dixon Sider mentions Chris Jericho, also a product of the Red River Precom program.
You know what you're saying with Dixon's name there, hey, buddy?
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
If you aren't wearing a Connect belt, what are you waiting for? A one-size-fits-all belt with a smooth, hole-free track system makes it adjustable for the perfect fit. With fully customizable options, you can choose your belt color, material, and buckle to suit your style. 100% Canadian-owned and operated, Connect belts are designed for work, everyday wear, and even a round of golf. Check out the large selection of men's and women's styles at www.knktbelts.com. Connect belts, the perfect fit every time.
River Creek Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly. Featuring small band and acoustic performances, Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly in the venue July 25th. Tickets at rivercreekresort.com.
River Creek Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
The Canadian Brewhouse is turning up the flavor this summer with our new summer feature menu. Try our jerk chicken skewers, Cajun shrimp tostadas, and street corn salsa. Bold bites made for patio season. Get them while it's hot. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Earlier on EST Afternoons, newly hired Oilers head coach Peter Aubry checked in to speak on his responsibilities in his new position, his approach working with goaltenders while looking ahead to the season, stating that there's still plenty of conversations to take place. Staying out east, the Jets have signed Sauce Gardner to a 4-year deal worth over $120 million total, $30 million annually with $60 million guaranteed. He becomes the highest paid cornerback in the league. And Trey Smith then signed in Kansas City with the Chiefs. He got a 4-year deal worth $94 million. And on the court, the Raptors and Nuggets tip off at 4, having a handful of other games, including the Blazers meeting the Pelicans while Golden State visits Memphis. Elsewhere, the Fever and Sun meet while the Mystics take on the Sparks. And in baseball, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Alejandro Kirk are the two Blue Jays suiting up in tonight's MLB All-Star game. That gets going at 6 o'clock. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The second hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. Good discussion on the Edmonton Elks. In the last hour of the show, we got a very heartfelt email from a disappointed Elks fan named Red Dog. We will talk more about the green and gold at 5 o'clock with Jed Roberts, one of our regulars here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. We'll have some comments made by Paul McFarland earlier today on the Nielsen Show. He is the new assistant coach with your Edmonton Oilers. We'll revisit the off-topic topic later on as well, just to put it back out there for William Huff. What TV show that is no longer on the air, no longer being produced, would you like to see one more season of? That's been a pretty fun one. We've had some good messages coming in. It is 4 o'clock. We're doing this all week long on the show in this time slot. We're calling it Ref Week. We're profiling officials. I guess many of them are going to be local, except for the guy on Friday, but that's a very interesting one that we're going to have on Friday. This is Voice of the Game. For Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993, we're more than just plywood. We offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. With a huge selection of hardwoods and knowledgeable staff, we're here for all your DIY needs. Windsor Plywood Leduc, the experts you need to know. I am pleased to reconnect with basketball referee Karen Lassuk. Karen, it's Reid. That's Jay. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Doing very well. Coop, might have to boost that for me just a little bit if you can with Karen coming in. Great to see you again. I know you were on Inside Sports with me before and the year you were going to the Olympics in 2016. So you've done some incredible stuff. Let's just give everybody the beginning to start telling your story. What first got you into officiating?
Oh, Lord. Here we go. Disgruntled ex-university basketball player playing adult league, not feeling like things were being called. It was just a different, a vibe going from stuff being called to nothing being called. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot play like this. And I'd start chirping a little bit. And I'm kind of fiery. You know that already, Reid. And I'd chirp a little bit at the refs and they'd be like, oh, well, you kind of know what you're talking about sometimes. I'm like, well, I can't be any worse than you guys. And so they challenged me. They said, well, we have a clinic this weekend. Why don't you come? I go, yeah, I'm going to come. And so I did.
Well,
and so that's how it started.
Good for you for doing that. So we had, and we're going to ask, that's going to be our first question to probably everybody, why and how. Yesterday we had Corey Davis on the show. He's been an umpire for 41 years. He started when he was 11 to get $5 a game to pay for Slurpees. But wow. Good because I think a lot of refs will say that though if they're getting beaked, right? Well, if it's so easy, why don't you take the courses and become a ref? So good for you. You went and did it. I do know you're a little fiery and you're very confident. Like how important is, and you don't have to think you're perfect, but how important is that confidence and projecting that confidence to being an official?
I think it's critical to success, to be honest with you. If you are a meek, mild, quiet person, you will go to a certain level, but you will not get to the highest levels if you cannot sort of not give it back per se, but learn how to use your personality to speak to people. Because really officiating, especially at the highest levels, is about being able to communicate. And sometimes giving it back, like you said, and in a professional way, very professional at all times. And if you can't do that, I really don't think you belong in officiating. I'm going to be honest.
The first time I ever saw you, this would have even been before I ever would have thought I would have interviewed you. Because when I came back to Edmonton from Lloyd in 2007, I called Stoff and I said, like, do you need anybody? He goes, you can do Bears and Pandas basketball. Mm-hmm. And you were doing not just Pandas games, but you would also do Golden Bears games. So that's the first I saw of you. And I said to Jay, and I'm not saying this to be sexist or demeaning, it's just a reality. Usually it's just men doing men's games, at least in that time. Yeah. And it was men or women doing women's games. When you started doing men's games, did you get any of the, there's the whatever demeaning term, or how did you assert yourself in that environment?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not going to lie. I was like crapping my pants, and I knew that my first whistle, whether it's an out of bounds, a foul, whatever it happens to be, it had to be strong. I had to be strong when I presented. And if I was not, I knew I'd be eaten alive. And I was very fortunate. I had some very good colleagues that they believed in me and they prepared me well. And I just went out and said, okay, it's make or break it, girl. Let's go. And I went out and had my ass ripped. Oop, sorry.
You can say ass. That's fine. Yes.
Had my ass ripped a few times, but I gave it back a little bit because I'm like, I'm not afraid of you. So I had to show them a little bit of sass, not going to lie. And it paid off, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and we want to get into some of those interactions with players and coaches because that really is of a lot of interest to people. But we should touch on the Olympics because that's one of the phrases we've been using to promo you is like, hey, she reffed the Olympics. So that was 2016. Like, how do you get selected? I mean, there's like literally thousands of referees around the world. who are probably excellent. Like, how do you stand out to get picked for the Olympics?
Yeah, so back then, it has changed a little bit now, but not that much. But back then, so it would have been I was identified in 1999. I'm that old. God, can't believe that. But I was identified, and I hadn't even reffed a university game yet. I was identified as a potential going to what's called a basketball officiating camp out in Montreal, and they went, okay, who's this Alberta girl? Like, she's pretty good. Let's keep her on our radar. And so I did some college women's, college men's. And then when the invites came out, I was invited, but I had never reffed a university game, period, in my life. And so I had to go to this camp and sort of show myself there. And if I performed well at the officiating camp, then they were going to put my name forward with the other whatever number of officials were put forward for that year. And it worked out. So that's how that came about.
How many refs did they pick for the Olympics? Do you remember?
The Olympics. Are we talking Olympics now?
Yeah. Like how many people actually got picked to ref in 2016?
Oh gosh. Okay. So there were I think there were 30 of us that were selected. And they of course came from all over the world, right? And 2 of us were from Canada, right. Myself and Steve Seibel from British Columbia. We were the 2 Canadians that were selected to go.
That's incredible. I remember talking to you shortly after you got picked. Karen Lasuik joining us on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. Ref Week continuing. Okay, so now what have you been doing? And I know your refs get injured too. People like we're reminding people that refs are human more than anything. But what's your like lately? What do you usually get assigned to? Is it a lot of stuff in the States now, or what have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been reffing Division I NCAA women's basketball for the past 21 years. So that was my next thing after the Olympics. I was already actually reffing. I started Division I in 2004. I got there and I did that because I just wanted a change. I wanted more of a challenge. And so I was fortunate enough because of my credentials with the FIBA certification and, going to the Olympics and such, I was able to get the credentials you need to work down south. And so I've been doing that for 21 years and I'm actually just embarking on year 22 coming up here. So that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years.
Okay. So if you don't mind me asking, because you got to be committed. So how does your life and career work? Like what's a typical week like for you during basketball season?
Yeah, I'm a teacher. So I'm really fortunate. I have had really supportive administration at my school. And because I was an international official, so doing that for a number of years prior to embarking on the NCAA Division I stuff, I would travel all over the world. I'd go to Tunisia and wherever, like Thailand and whatever. And I would bring all these stories and all this history back to my kids that I teach. And my administration found value in that. So I got really lucky. And then when my career started taking off in NCAA, I needed to have more time off. And I had to make a decision. My one superintendent at the time said, you need to decide if you want to officiate or if you want to be a teacher. And I'm like, I want to do both because you know what? Both of them help me be better at the other. And she didn't like that. And I didn't care. And I walked out. And then my principal and I made a decision. And that's how it started. So,
wow. Okay. So, sorry, Jay, I know you got one. But so what we got to plug, it's Blueberry School. We got to plug Blueberry.
Yeah.
Okay, so what grade do you teach?
Grade 9.
Grade 9. Okay, so but like where do you go? Are you usually in the West or could you go anywhere in the States when you go?
I ref in 5 Division I West Coast West Side conferences because it's so hard to go from, like, my hub is Seattle, so it's really hard to go across the country. It's like 2-3 flights, right? So I had to choose if I want to stay west or if I wanted to move, let's say, to Denver and then continue out east. And that's not that's not something I want to do. So the furthest I go in is Denver. So I go from all across Seattle, Idaho, all that stuff, all the way to Denver.
Awesome.
And I stopped there.
Karen Lasuik joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. You got Jay here. I wanted to know, given your experience internationally, now in NCAA, I mean, at one time you were CIS, which I guess now is U Sports. Is there differences? Because basketball referees it need to dance, right? I mean, when somebody's on the baseline, your partner has to be in a certain spot and vice versa. Yes. Did you find, and maybe particularly during the Olympics, that people from different spots internationally have positions held differently, or is it pretty much carte blanche across across the whole page?
I have to tell you, that is a really amazing question.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Because in all honesty, for the number of years I've officiated, even from Western Canada to Eastern Canada, Western US to Eastern US, Western world to Eastern world, around the world, the globe, Australia, even though we try to be on the same page, we are not. We're trained the same way. However, unfortunately, if you go internationally, so the FIBA stuff, the Olympics and all that stuff, they don't get necessarily the local training that we get in the West, if that makes sense. They get it, but then they can fall back into their own habits. So that's one thing I found really difficult refereeing internationally. Like even at the Olympic level, you would expect those officials that are selected there to be just, everything should be meticulously, like knowing exactly when you need to rotate, knowing exactly where you're looking, And it wasn't like that. And that blew my mind. Even officiating in the NCAA, for example, in the West, the training I receive, I have one boss, thank the Lord, out of my 5 conferences. And our training is we do da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And if you don't get games. It's that simple. And we're not like robots, but we know what we need to do and we follow it. However, when I've reffed March Madness as a Western official going east to like Toledo or to Waco, Texas, and refereeing with Eastern officials down south, they do things a little differently there. And that's the same in Canada. When I do still ref in Canada, I still do a little bit of Canada West. I do it in September and October till the end of October, and then I go down south. Even across the country, as hard as we are trying to be the same, and we are getting closer, there's still some things that we need to be better. But that's just the nature of this craft, I guess.
Well, thank you for answering that. I didn't expect that, to be honest. Especially at the Olympic level, like you said, you would think there'd be a lot more consistency. But I guess that we're hearing it from the source, right? So, I had another question for you, and I was thinking about this, and I guess the simplest way for me to phrase this, Karen, would be throughout your years of reffing, how has the definition of a travel changed?
Oh my God. Okay. You ask really good questions, but I don't like this one because I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, everybody's heard of the Euro step. I mean, we broke down a play in the March Madness tournament. A Maryland player hit a game-winning shot, and it was referred to as the Euro step, or there's another term I know, but I want from your side here. Tell us what you know.
Okay, well, let's go Eurostep. Eurostep is a worldwide thing. That's a FIBA thing, and that's just that is not a travel. I'll just say that flat out. A Eurostep is not a travel. Okay? The thing that I think is messing people up, and this is a FIBA thing only, and let me remind you that only the United States, the NCAA, NBA, and WNBA play by their own rules.
Okay.
The rest of the entire world plays with FIBA rules. So we have a new travel thing that I have to admit, I am really uncomfortable with, and it's called the zero step. So if I'm in motion, for example, and I think it actually came from the NBA, to be honest with you. If I'm in motion, let's say I catch a pass. I'm in motion, I catch, I step, I'm allowed at least another 2 before there's a travel. So it's called a zero. So if I'm in the air and I catch, that foot on the floor means nothing. The referees go 0, 1, 2, layup. That's how it's supposed to be officiated. For me personally, I'll be honest with you, because I don't come from that frame of mind, especially since most of the ball I do now is NCAA, and we're very stringent. I follow the NCAA rules. When I ref Canadian games, coaches will be like, "That's a travel." I'd be like, "Is it?"
Wow. Yeah. 6-year-old Reid Wilkins did. Remembering what he learned in grade 1. That was traveling, what you just described.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Guys, though, I'll tell you, traveling is one of the absolute hardest things to call at the highest levels. It's so hard. And again, remember, NBA, WNBA, NCAA, yeah, we have mandates, but there's elastic rules, right? You kind of overlook some things depending. It's just officiating. I mean, in any officiating, NBA, NFL, NHL, let's be real. There's some things that don't get called depending on who it is, right?
Yeah.
Whether it affects anything, right? So there's a lot of flexibility, if you will, but it makes it hard, to be honest.
All right. Karen Lassuk joining us for Ref Week. Thanks for being so generous with your time. We're not quite done, so I hope you got a few more minutes, because you're great to talk to. You're so honest, and you're so experienced and informed. So a big reason we wanted to do this was about the criticism that refs get, because I don't know if I told you how this all started. We had a lot of audience members unhappy with something that happened in an Oilers playoff game. So we're talking about a call the next day. And we had a Western Hockey League referee text into our text line and say, like, come on, like, the people don't even understand the rule. And he's coming on later this week. Like, how do you, I don't know how much you would hear about yourself, or if, maybe you're out and you overhear fans, or you're in a large group of people and they don't know you're a ref and they are bitching about something that they saw at a basketball game. Like, do you try to educate people? Do you shut off and say, okay, they're fans, leave them alone? Like, how do you approach that?
It's interesting. That's a really great question as well. It kind of depends, to be honest. It depends on the venue, depends on if it's just, on occasion I will, and I have to really curb myself because I am held to a standard in the leagues I do that I have to be professional at all times. And like, I am not on any media platforms at all for a reason, because I don't want to be misspoken or whatever it happens to be. And so you have to be really, really careful. And, end of the day, if I'm sitting, let's say, in a crowd of people, like I was at the Elks game the other day, and they were awful. I feel bad for them. But I was there, and there were people yakking away about the officiating and this and that. And I had a few pops, I'm not going to lie. And I just went, can I say that here on this?
Yes, you can say that for sure. Yes, absolutely.
That's why I love doing this show.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hey, man, I'm like, have you ever officiated anything in your life? Well, no. Well, I go, then maybe you shouldn't talk about it, because you may not know the rules. You may not know what they're going through. So I've been there, but I have to be very careful. So I try to curb that if I can. If people ask me, however, who have seen me, because I've had that happen where I'm out shopping, whatever, and like, oh, hey, we saw you ref at the Stingers game the other night. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And they're like, can I ask you a question? I'm like, okay. And so, yeah, I'm going to answer, and I'll say, this is why we did that or whatever. I'll do that. But otherwise, I try to stay out of it, because I know myself, and I could get myself in a lot of trouble. So I'm just like, should probably be quiet.
So basketball is unique, and I've often said this because I did 6 years of Pandas and Golden Bears basketball. A couple years we were up in the bleachers, but most of the time we were right down courtside. Being next to Don Horwood for a year or two was pretty cool. Yeah. But I mean, there were times, Edwards or Horwood or Francis and then Barnaby, like I was there for all those people. Like the play would be going on, and the coach can actually kind of step on the court and talk to that high official while they're watching the play. That's a unique interaction. I mean, I know there's yelling in hockey and football, but and then there could be really heated but quiet discussions between plays. where a coach could say some pretty pointed things, but get the official nice and tight, and it seems like they're having a pleasant chat. But how do you deal with, when a coach or a player maybe is really heated or starting to use some tone or language that you don't like? Do you diffuse? Do you let them? I'm just hoping, because I know a lot of people really want to hear this. How do you handle those tough confrontations?
Another great question. It depends. I'll just say that. So, for example, let's say I'm working with, maybe it's me. Maybe I've made a horrible decision and I'm getting my ear chewed off and whatever. And the coach is in my grill about blah, 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 and trying to make it look quiet and whatever. And I've made a really poor decision. I have no problem, but it's taken me years to get here to say, you know what, coach? That was not my best decision today. You're right. And when I look at it on film, I'm probably going to hate it. And the next time I see you, we're going to talk about it because I know you're going to look. Oh, and they kind of go, oh, okay. Conversely, if it's a partner, especially if it's a young partner, and the coach is jabbering at me about them, that I need to help them, I often look at the coach and go, you know what? You were young once too, right? As a coach, let them grow, let them learn. Talk to me, leave them alone. I do that. Have I had conversations with Don Horwood, for example, back in the day when I was a baby Bears referee, where he'd be just like, and you know the kind of language he uses. And sometimes Mr. Edwards, who's a great friend of mine, will use that language with me quietly in my ear. It depends on what happened. I might smile and go, you know what my thought bubble's saying right now to you, right now, that I can't say out loud? And they'll be like, I go, yeah, that's right. And then I just go. And then they don't know what to say to me. So, but that's taken me years of practice, you guys. Like the younger referees that you guys will see that referee the Pandas, the Bears, the CEBL, when you're getting chewed like that, where it's just quiet in your ear, you have to understand the craft of how do you respond to that. And it, again, the personality piece you guys talked about early is so huge. Because if I was a quiet little shy thing, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'm pretty sure you guys figured that out.
Yeah. Well, Karen, along those lines, given that you can be on the court and be confident and own it, right?
Yeah.
Is that something to say? Because you've heard it. Well, the refs kind of let this one get away. And then the game becomes sloppy. It becomes physical. It seems out of control. Is that a fair thing to say, that, yes, that can happen if you're not engaged and confident in your role as a referee, to set the standard from the start and say, no, I'm controlling this game?
100%. And that's something I teach our younger refs here, because I know Reid knows that I educate here. I have my own officiating camps here. I've been doing that since 2012. That's the first thing. One of the first things I teach people is that you have to set the standard for the game. We have certain things called points of emphasis that we have to follow, mandates that are automatic calls we're supposed to make. And for some officials, they feel it's, I can't call that because it feels too soft or whatever. And then the game goes to crap because they don't do it. And then they have to try to reel it back in, right? So you have to go out and say, no, today, this is how it's going to be. And I do that when I come home to Canada after being in the US for so long. When they see me on the floor, I go, oh, hey, Karen, great to see you. I go, are you sure about that? Because you're not going to take care of stuff today.
Will you ever, because sometimes like in a hockey game, you might pick something up on a mic, like a referee might say, okay, Johnny, no hold, enough.
Yeah.
Like, will you ever say to a player, hey, I see you putting your shoulder into his or her chest. It's technically not a foul, but I know what you're doing, so enough. Like, will you ever do that?
Whoa.
And then,
That's my favorite thing, Reid.
Yeah.
Favorite thing. When people are getting stupid, I put them on notice. That's what I call it. I'll be like, hey, I go, you two, knock it off. I see you. And I give them my teacher look, my mom look. I'm not a mom. I feel like I'm a mom of students. And they just look at me and go, I see you, knock it off. And then off we go. That's my favorite part, I think, is doing that. Yeah.
Because then if you call the foul the next time, you can say, well, I didn't elbow him as hard as I did last play. But you can say, yeah, but I told you I should have called the last one, so you should have understood I'm calling the next one. Like I enjoy those little interactions. Okay, we're going to wrap with this. And this is awesome. You stuck around for like half an hour. This is amazing. Thank you so much. The next generation, you mentioned you teach, you kind of touched on it, but maybe like how do you sell a life, as you've had, kind of a life in officiating to that next generation? Or maybe there's a 13-year-old boy or girl. Man, I thought I was a good ref, but the coach and the parents were yelling at me the whole game. How do you keep them involved?
And that's interesting because that's one of the toughest things in any, I think, referee board is to keep the young ones that are getting yelled at and stuff like that. I think things like this, like seeing people's stories. We in Edmonton, our EBOA, our Edmonton Basketball Officials Association, when we train our young ones, and we start in April and then bring them through to September, and then they do we call it the mentee program. We make sure that they referee with someone that is experienced so that, they're going to get yelled at, but that's just part of it. And we make sure that they're taken care of. But, I think it's just a matter of, I go around as much as I can. I go to the clinics, all the clinics, even though I don't teach every one of them. And they know who I am, and they will ask me stories, or I share my stories. I share when I was a baby referee and I got chewed on and how I dealt with it, which was not great, and how I managed to just continue to plow forward. So that's what I really, really tried to do. And the education team in Edmonton is really great at that. And we have a mentorship program where the babies are put with experienced people, and they go and work with them and are trained by them and seen as much as possible. And I think that keeps our young ones that are really fearful, I think that keeps them with us.
Karen, that's awesome. I can't thank you enough. It was, first of all, it was just great to talk to you again because, we hadn't talked in a while, but telling your story. And I think what I appreciate the most is the passion you have for what you do. And I can see a lot of people in our chat really appreciate that as well. So all the best the rest of the summer. Have a great season ahead. And let's keep in touch.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity, guys. And it was great to reconnect, Reid.
Right on. That is Karen Lasuik checking in, part of Ref Week here on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne.
We could have kept her till 6.
She's incredible.
I mean, that was incredible.
What a resume. What a professional. Well, of course she's professional, but like just her whole approach to how she pursued that, how she like if you're going into grade 9 at Blueberry School, like your teacher's probably going to miss a few Fridays.
And you're lucky.
She's going to ref Division I basketball. But that's one thing I really took away too, is that her two professions help each other.
Sure.
Being a teacher and being a referee. I mean, she's great. We'll talk more about it when we get back. But
yeah,
I could tell you love that.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Here comes the Coop.
Newly hired Oilers assistant coach Paul McFarland and goalie coach Peter Aubry joined EST today, having McFarland check in on the Nielsen Show this morning, chatting about his role with the team, his pathway into coaching, expressing his excitement to get things going with the Oilers, while Aubry shared his approach to coaching at tandem and what he's been doing for prepping for the next season. From Utah, Michael Carcone has signed a 1-year league minimum deal, extending with the Mammoth. He had 19 points in 53 games last season. In NFL news, Trey Smith re-ups in Kansas City on a 4-year, $94 million contract extension. Meanwhile, 24-year-old Sauce Gardner becomes the highest-paid corner back in league history, inking a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Jets. On the court, Summer League action has the Raptors battling the Nuggets, 7 games on the slate, while in the MLB, the All-Star game gets going at 6 o'clock. The Jays have 2 players in the game, Alejandro Kirk and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists, and you're stuck with a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Call them at 780-460-9977 or visit their website at advantagesportmed.ca to book an appointment today. The boys recap their conversation on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
The commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Stuart Johnson.
One of the surprises, or one of the a newness for me, tailgating varied from market to market, but certainly was a focus of each market. When I walked around in Edmonton and got a taste of, by taste I mean the literal taste of that I don't know if I've eaten that much meat that quickly in my life.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Ford Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
River Creek Resort and Casino on K97 proudly present Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly. Featuring small band and acoustic performances, Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly in the venue July 25th. Tickets at rivercreekresort.com.
River Creek Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Kayaks, bikes, camping gear? Make space for summer fun with Sentinel Storage. Spend more time on adventures with your outdoor gear and less time looking for them. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca.
.36 in the afternoon. If you're taking us in on YouTube, remember, click that thumbs up button.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb.
Give the show a like. I a lot of positive feedback coming in the nasty chat and the River Creek Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999, about the Karen Lassuk interview as part of Ref Week. If you're streaming us through iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, those apps, we thank you for doing that as well. Maybe you're listening in the future on a podcast. You can subscribe to the show, any show on the station, wherever you get your podcasts. We thank you however you are choosing to be an audience member. Buying or Selling is presented by Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com. Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. Well, I'm not going to ask you if you're buying or selling on Karen being a great interview, because that's obvious. So we'll just kind of do our key...
Well, and we'll
takeaways from that segment.
We'll probably buy or sell for Damon Bunting Real Estate after every one of these interviews for the rest of the week.
As a debrief, sort of.
As a debrief, because you need that. Because that was just simply, I said to you after we left, I said, that might have been one of the best interviews we've done. Just the information that she gave, the honesty that she gave it in. And I mean, right off the top, I just liked that she admitted she was a disgruntled ex-player who said, you're missing this. They said, well, okay, smarty pants, if you want to show us wrong, come to the clinic this weekend. And she did. And now look at what she's, made of her career. Just exceptional. I didn't, but I watched Karen ref throughout my wife's whole career as a panda.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I was very familiar with her. I mentioned to April that she's coming on our show, and April and many players that have been ref by her have nothing but the best to say for her, because as you saw in that interview, she's honest.
Yeah.
She'll tell you, hey, you don't do that. I won't call it. If you don't do that, I won't call it.
Right.
And she'll help you. And that was a great way to put it, as she explained, where you're saying, hey, what do you got if you got two players, roughing each other up? And she said, I'll talk to you. I'll help you along, which I think as a referee, communication, as she pointed out, is so crucial.
And I enjoyed too, because there's that coach referee interaction, that if a coach is beaking about a call, that in her career she has just said, yeah, maybe that wasn't my best call. And that kind of shuts them up.
Well, what do you say to that?
Because they're trying to bait you.
Yeah.
They're trying to bait you in an argument or blow off steam. Or you just say, well,
it's the greatest
if
rebuttal.
that's what you saw, but I was standing over here, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
But I love how she said she's got to defend the younger refs too. I mean, they are kind of their own little team out there.
And one of the things that the takeaway, and you could clearly see that from Karen, was that she's confident. And she said that is one of the most important things about being a ref. One of the most important details, if you can call that, is confidence. And I don't even think that pertains to simply reffing, Reid. I mean, in your profession, if you're going to do the best you can, you need to own it.
Right.
You need to be and have that confidence that says, yeah, I'm the person that can do this the best. Otherwise, if you're not able to have that, what are you really doing? And she clearly does.
Well, and I remember her reffing, and that's always what struck me about her. Like when she makes a call, it's defined. It's not, I don't want to say loud and like she's yelling. It's definitive.
Yes.
Like it's definitive. And if you call the game that way, then the players think, oh yeah, I guess I was out of bounds. you don't have that second to be like, wait a minute. Not that she's getting calls wrong, of course, but I mean, she's a great story. I mean, getting selected for the Olympics, how she got into it, still going strong, going to be doing Division I, I guess some Canada West preseason, and then Division I women's basketball once they get going. So she's also part of this too, is she's a local success story, and that's what we like talking about on this show as well, on this station, the people who are from Edmonton, outside of Edmonton, little old Blueberry School. Shout out to them. Like, hey, who would have thought that? Oh, there's a grade 9 teacher at Blueberry School who's like an international level referee. People would be like, no, Reid, you're making it up. No, actually, she's been on my show.
Yeah. No, and it's great to highlight that, Reid. Like you said, local talent. And once again, we're going to have another one on tomorrow, and Justin McInnes.
Yeah, who's active in the CFL.
He's a CFL head referee.
I got to hand it to you because I was skeptical we'd get that. I was skeptical we'd get a current CFL ref, especially in season.
Well, and it's almost sad but true, Reid, because I think the first reaction, a lot of, especially like a CFL ref, we're in the CFL season, is, oh, well, you thinking you're going to poke them and try and show them the holes or the mistakes they made. No, it's nothing to do with that. We want to actually highlight you and your journey and how you can activate the next generation, because that's the hardest job. And especially as Karen alluded to, is taking care of the babies in the pack and almost isolating them from some of the negative effects that can happen on the court or on the field.
Yeah. No, and then this is why we want to do this, because there is like humanizing them, but also getting the story. Like, why did you do that? I mean, most of the refs, well, pretty much anything you can watch at a fairly high level. I mean, even if we're talking U Sports or CEBL, it doesn't have to be NHL. If there's a referee working that game, like they didn't just pick them out of nowhere.
No.
They've had to, and I know we do a lot on during hockey, people are mad at NHL refs. Those are still the best hockey refs in the world, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They're not perfect. And I'm always happy to debate their calls if there's something worth debating, but you got to remember they've put the work in as well.
Well, and what's the biggest thing that you usually talk about is the consistency behind it, from referee to referee, which she also touched on in international travel.
Yeah.
Is that your partner is not in the positions that they need to be in.
Yeah,
which would be very frustrating if you're used to doing it one way for a long time. But she did say the NCAA is probably one of the best groups that she's been a part of as far as trying to get that consistency.
Yeah, that was great. But I loved how she talked about the regional differences in the States.
Yeah,
that was fascinating.
Yeah. I guess different schools of thought or different training methods, right?
Wheels, is that a Teef?
It is.
In the nasty chat, Wheels. Why does he call himself Wheels Farhat? I don't know that. It's probably some lingo from the old station I didn't know about. Anyway, Wheels says, Karen, awesome ref. When I score kept at Nate for basketball, she made sure I was running the scoreboard, and if I made a mistake, she would let me know. But probably in like, hey, let's learn type of way, not like, hey, you're a screw up type of way. I mean, that's kind of what her personality strikes me as. Yeah, Karen's just outstanding. Just absolutely outstanding. And basketball is a sport too like there's going to be a lot of calls. Like in hockey, there might be 7 penalties in a game, right? So you can really debate them. But I mean, in basketball, you really have to have that standard too. And let's face it, there's a lot of crap going on. Like you don't have sticks like in hockey, but if you think of all the screens and all the picks and jersey tugs and elbows or subtle elbows and stuff like that, like that's not an easy sport to officiate. And yes, in hockey, if there's a power play, a team could score a goal. If you're giving free throws in basketball, like it's rare a person would miss both any level, like, you know what I mean? So, it's a tough sport to officiate, and she obviously does a great job.
What do you think of the 0 step?
Well, I think kind of I'm on Karen's page that they get too many steps now.
Yeah, I mean, 0, 1, 2.
And then you could still dribble and then take 2 more technically.
I suppose.
I guess.
But it's because you're catching it in movement, in motion, right? Is the way that she described it? I don't know.
All right, that was an outstanding segment. So CFL ref Justin McInnes tomorrow, Chris Critch from the Dub Thursday, and Dave Jackson, former NHL ref, who's now an ESPN rules analyst, on Friday. And we may sneak 1 or 2 more in, depending on how it goes. Or just keep doing it next week.
We might have to.
We might just do a couple more refs next week.
Yeah.
All right, 780-218-9999 is how you text the afternoon inbox, presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant, all-you-can-eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. We're going to talk about somebody who doesn't like a dog when we get back.
Newly hired Oilers assistant coach Paul McFarland joined the Nielsen Show this morning, expressing his excitement to join the team, stating, quote, "Our job as coaches is to always try and put players in positions of strength and to continue to build on their confidence." Well, on EST Afternoons, goalie coach Peter Aubry checked in, breaking down his approach in teaching netminders while recapping his path in the teaching game. While in Utah, Michael Carcone gets a 1-year extension worth the league minimum for the Chiefs. Trey Smith inks a 4-year deal worth $94 million. He now becomes the highest paid interior lineman in NFL history, while in New York, the Jets make Sauce Gardner the highest paid cornerback in the league, giving him a 4-year deal, $60 million guaranteed, worth up to $120 million total. 7 games in the NBA Summer League tonight. Minnesota plays Detroit. The Nets and Knicks throw down while the Raptors take on the Nuggets. Toronto facing Denver at 6 o'clock. And also at 6, the MLB All-Star Game gets going. Alejandro Kirk and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. representing the Blue Jays. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds. Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you'll need. Get top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park. Or call them at 780-467-5014. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
The EST Hangout.
It's just new energy. Let's just put it that way, I think. Like when things get stale, when it's the same message and it's the same voice. I really liked what I heard out of the assistant coach this morning. I want to start tomorrow. Whereas everybody else on the Oilers is like, oh my God, we've been to the final 2 years in a row and I just need a break from hockey. And well, how's that mentality going into the next season?
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Summer in Edmonton means 3 things: warm weather, long nights, and plenty of sports. From the lake to the links, you can boost your summer fun with hundreds of casino games, live betting on your favorite sports teams, and access to popular lotteries. All in one app, anywhere in the province. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code YAG50 to claim a $50 free bet. That's promo code YAG50 for a $50 free bet on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Salute to Service is back. Your Edmonton Elks battle the Hamilton Tiger Cats Saturday, August 2nd, 1300 hours. We're incredibly grateful for all those who serve our community, so we're dedicating this game to them with a celebration for all service workers, featuring a pre-game flyover by the Royal Canadian Air Force, and see who wins our inaugural Salute to Service Cup flag football tournament. EE Salute to Service, presented by James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. Tickets start at just $20. Score yours now at goelks.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Kayaks, bikes, camping gear? Make space for summer fun with Sentinel Storage. Spend more time on adventures with your outdoor gear and less time looking for them. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca.
All right, we hope you like listening to the show as much Jay and I like presenting it for you. We're having an absolute blast. We had a great interview with Karen Lassuk. Jed Roberts coming up in 10 to 15 minutes with a little more on the issues for the Edmonton Elks and how, if at all, they can fix them. Is that mean of me to say if at all? I mean, look, to be fair, because I always say let's look at it from both sides. The other side of that is that maybe after 18 games, we're saying that was the Elks' worst game of the year. That they improved.
That would be ideal.
I hope that's their worst game of the year.
Sure.
Because if they still play worse than that,
it's not good.
That's going to be extremely discouraging. All right, we are in the banquet studio. Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Avocado and feta dip, passion fruit cheesecake, and cocktails that taste like summer in a glass. Try the new feature menu at the banquet. Refreshing, craveable. We did like a saxophone underneath these. And made for sunny days.
Kenny G.
The banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Oh, yeah. Maybe you should do the
avocado and feta dip. Passion fruit cheesecake. And cocktails that taste like summer in a glass.
Yeah.
Try the new feature menu at the banquet. Refreshing, craveable, and made for sunny days. The banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Dun, da, da, da.
That's a good read.
That's incredible. All right, we are in the banquet studio. Oh my goodness, what an absolute! You know what else we're trying to get on the show? Someone from the Canadian rugby team, because they call them test matches, right? They had one in Edmonton. They got another one coming up on Friday. A couple Edmontonians on the team, so I'm working on that. Hopefully, I hope I get it. Hope it's not like Friday afternoon. People are like, Reid, I've been listening for the rugby player all week. Oh, they said no. By the way, what's on your shirt, by the way? That's an intense shirt. For people on YouTube, Jay has a very, was that Tim Allen?
That's Tim the Tool Man Taylor, yeah.
Okay, the actor's Tim Allen, right?
The actor's Tim Allen.
Are both of them him?
Yes. This is from the Whale and the Wolf concert.
Oh, right.
They designed this for some reason. They've used pink tears coming out of eyes or streams in several of their shirts. At a recent show, ran into a mutual friend of ours actually that night.
Oh,
it's a great time.
Does he work for the Oilers Entertainment Group?
He does.
Does he ever wear a headset during games?
He does. We had a great time. But yeah, I looked at this shirt and I had to have it. So
that is a cool shirt.
Yeah.
I didn't even really notice it until during Karen's interview. I was like, what is on Jay's shirt? Like, that's intense.
You know, when my daughters first saw it, they said it was Santa Claus.
It's not.
Because
he was Santa Claus.
They're like, is that Santa Claus? Like, actually, yeah.
What do I have on today? Oh, I have my Wolverine shirt on today. This is a fun shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got it for Christmas.
Did you?
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Buying me clothes. So, a bit of a side note. So Superman's not everybody, but people are talking about Superman.
Yeah, it's
Gager
topical.
saw Superman. My buddy Zip saw Superman. I'd like to see Superman. I don't know when I'm going to have time to go. But that's like one of these summer movies, you know. Popular character, obviously. If people are into directors, I think James Gunn's a very talented and funny director. So Jace comes in today and says, "Hey, Reid, that one radio host in the States gave a review of Superman." And I was like, "Jim Rome? No, the other guy." I was like, "Rich Eisen?" He's like, no, the New York guy. I'm like, "One of the guys from Mike and the Mad Dog?" And Jay's like, "Yeah, I think so." So I look up Mike Francesa. His show's on YouTube. Now, his full review was I couldn't even get through all of it.
But it was good.
And he hated it. Now, he also says, and this is kind of the thing where, like, why did you go? Like, why did you go? Because he's like, I hate science fiction. I hate anything with aliens, spaceships, people flying around. I don't know if he said that exactly, but he basically describes the comic book genre as something he hates. He's like, I like Gone with the Wind. I like The Godfather, greatest movie ever made. I liked what's the Bob Dylan movie? A Complete Unknown. I'm not doing his voice at all because he's got, how do you do the New York accent? He's got it.
Well, you'll hear it soon.
You'll hear it right away. So he goes, I like movies where it's boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back. Maybe Superman's like that. I don't know. He's got a girlfriend in it, doesn't he? But he likes movies set in the real world about real people or realistic situations.
Yeah, I think he was upset with the depth of the movie and the characters that were included in the movie.
Oh, he didn't like all the other heroes.
Yeah, he just wanted to see Superman
and Lois
be a badass,
fall in love
with Lois Lane on his side, and win the day.
Punch a bank robber in the face.
There you go.
There's the movie. Yes, which is fun. That's his type of movie.
Yeah,
he probably should have known he wasn't going to get that. But then he said this was part of his criticism of the film.
Then there's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog? I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
Okay, so I didn't do it today. I did it recently because when there was that one trailer that came out when the dog finds him in the snow and my mom loves dogs. Like, she thinks all dogs are cute and awesome. So I showed her the trailer. So then I looked up Crypto, and Crypto has been a sporadically used part of the Superman universe. And we know what comics are like. It's like, because I know I read Spider-Man, and it's like, the Sandman's in jail. And then 2 years later, it's like, oh, there's a Sandman. How did he get out? We'll never know. He just is. They just needed a story with the Sandman. So I think that's kind of what Crypto is. So James Gunn decided to use Crypto. Well, why wouldn't he wear a cape? He's going to fly. If the dog could fly.
Then there's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog?
Crypto. The writers.
I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
Well, no, because he wasn't in that show. No, Mike's a legend.
Yeah.
If there's some Nate student taking audio of me and mocking it, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I couldn't leave that alone.
Well, if you want to hear the full review, it's from this last week. It was pretty good.
He hated the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen it? No.
Super. Then there's a super dog. Who came up with it?
And he says, and I hate the dog being beat up on, but hey.
Yeah, I assume the dog he redeems himself, comes
but
back
hey,
and helps.
The dog's getting beat on. Hey.
It's like Mike, it's probably CG. Yeah. Don't worry, they didn't actually beat up a real dog.
But I've never seen a dog with a cape. I mean, geez, Mike. It's a movie. It's a movie.
No, I don't know if dogs should have capes, but when he's walking dogs in Manhattan, especially Upper West Side, and he sees them in sweaters and stuff,
that must drive him nuts.
Boots in the rain. Like some dogs, you can put the little umbrellas. The dog's got an umbrella.
I've never seen a dog. Saw a dog with an umbrella. Well, Mike.
Well, who does he think he is? Fred Astaire? He's not singing. He's not barking in the rain. What's going on? Why does a dog need an umbrella? Dogs love getting wet. They shake themselves off. Gotta play this.
Then there's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog? I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
I never saw a dog with a cape.
So the movie should be exactly like the show he watched when he was a kid. Don't change anything.
He should stick to documentaries.
He should, yes.
Yeah, fictional documentaries. That is for Mike Francesa.
Oh, that was good. Thank you for for showing me that. All right, we're coming up to the 5. If I see when I see Superman, hopefully it's in the next couple of weeks. I'll give a review.
Well, and you're gonna burst out laughing when you see Crypto in a cape.
Well, I'll just get annoyed about even there being a character Superman.
Yeah, sure.
Who ever thought of a guy who could fly? What is he, an alien or something? Well, actually, he is, Mike. Okay. 5 o'clock break. Jed Roberts on the plight of the Edmonton Elks. You're also going to hear some clips from Paul McFarland, new Oilers assistant coach, all in the final hour.
2 guys and a goalie.
Who's your best goalie coach? Which goalie coach did you like the most or helped you the most?
Magnus Jonsson in Sweden.
Okay. Now why? Why him?
He just got me. Come over, we'd talk after games, good or bad. And Sweden, I mean, they're fanatics with working out, right? So like before practice, we'd be working out and doing like training and stuff. It was crazy.
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Win a trip to Osheaga with the Banquet in Aperol. We're sending one lucky guest to Montreal with flights, hotel, and 2 tickets to one of Canada's hottest music festivals. Enter by July 26. Details in store or on the Banquet app. Get real. Play hard.
You know Dawn. Everyone knows Dawn. Dawn from
Frontier Cartage. That's right, it's me, Dawn from Frontier Cartage, where we're setting the standard for cartage service in Edmonton and beyond, offering city cartage, Alberta Highway, short haul deck, and more. My team and I are bringing our years of industry experience and expertise to every mile.
Join Dawn and her boys in a new chapter in transportation excellence, dedicated to exceptional service. Call Dawn at Frontier Cartage, 587-222-5826.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind 360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Earlier on EST Afternoon's newly hired Oilers coach Peter Aubry checked in to speak on his responsibilities in his new position, his approach working with the two goaltenders, and looking ahead to the season, stating that there's, quote, still plenty of conversations to take place. Well, out east, the Jets have signed Swans Gardner to a 4-year deal worth over $120 million total, $60 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. Trey Smith then signed in Kansas City with the Chiefs. He got 4 years worth a total of $94 million. On the court, the Raptors and Nuggets tip off at 6, having a handful of other games, including the Blazers meeting the Pelicans, while Golden State visits Memphis. Elsewhere, the Fever meet the Suns, well, the Mystics take on the Sparks. And in baseball, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Alejandro Kirk are the 2 Blue Jays suiting up in tonight's MLB All-Star Game. That gets going at 6 o'clock. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The third and final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
All right, good to have you tuning in this afternoon. Great show so far. It's going to keep being great with Jed Roberts here in about 20 seconds. We had some Elks discussion. We had a great email from a passionate fan who's disappointed, goes by Red Dog. We just had Mike Francesa, who was the Mike and the Mad Dog, with a chunk of his Superman review.
Then there's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog? I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
Yeah, that's upsetting. That's
terrible.
That would ruin your day.
Cancel the movie.
Yeah, if it wasn't in the TV show he watched when he was a kid, why would it be in the movie in 2025?
Why would anybody
That's
use
absurd.
Why would anybody use their imagination
in a film?
In a film.
How dare they?
How dare you?
Our weekly connection is Jed Roberts, and the weekly connection is presented by the excellent folks and the excellent product Connect Belts. Simplify your life with Connect Belts. More than a good-looking belt, Connect offers a high-quality, no-hills belt. Whether you're on the course, in the office, or anywhere life takes you, Connect is the perfect fit belt you need to feel good. Get a Connect belt and support a 100% Canadian-owned company, owned and operated by U of A alumni. Now, if you're on YouTube, scan the QR code, or if you're on the audio stream, you can come back to this portion of the show on YouTube. Scan the QR code that's on the screen for a special EST 20% discount. Maybe, Jed, you could put the belt on your dog. Who's ever seen a dog wearing a belt? Hey?
Listen, if I take these glasses off, you will have no idea who I am. Guys just want the same story told for 50 years. They don't want any deviation. They want Lex Luthor, they want Superman, and they want Lois Lane. Anything else is out of bounds. You can't put a dog in a cape. That's sacrilegious. What are you talking about? Even though it's part of the canon.
It is. That's right. I was saying, I don't know if you heard what I was saying. Crypto's been around for a while. I think just most of the comic book writers don't use them. Have you seen Superman, or will you?
I haven't seen it yet. I hear it's actually supposed to be pretty good, so I have an open mind. Like I'm okay. Like if somebody wants to put their own spin on it, I say go for it. I'm not averse to that. I know there's been some pretty interesting interpretations over the years with some of the comic book iconography there. Some of them have hit, some of them haven't. I just thought it was funny. I think you hit it right on the nail, the head of the nail there when you talked about. Well, the guy already said he basically offered the disclaimer he hates science fiction movies, which leads me to believe he's either on a date or he's with his kids, right? So he's just miserable because I didn't sign up for this. I didn't want to go anyway. So like God forbid you put a cape on a dog, And I think you're absolutely right about dogs and booties and stuff like that. Like, man, he needs to get out more.
We're gonna. I got another fun one for you here, and then we'll dive into the heartbreak of the Elk season so far. So this kid that won the home run derby last night, I'm even forgetting his real name. Was it Cal Raleigh?
Yeah, Cal Raleigh.
So his nickname is the Big Dumper. the Big Dumper. What's the oddest nickname you or a teammate ever had in any level of football?
Well, I have to keep this PG rated.
Yes, you do. Unfortunately,
so.
Do your best. Do your best.
The oddest nickname. Well, I'll flirt with it. One of my best friends in high school, his nickname was Meatus.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Self-explanatory.
Actually, I have to qualify that. His original nickname was Meathead, and it was a take on Archie Bunker. The son from Archie Bunker.
Rob Reiner character.
But yeah, and then there were some escapades or whatever, and it got it morphed to Meatus. And even to this day, like 40 years later, we're still referring to him. We don't use his Christian name; we use his nickname. So
it's stuck for that long.
That's the beauty. I mean, if you don't have a nickname, you haven't been fully indoctrinated into the locker room, I think. And at some point you get a nickname and then it just sticks. And the best part is when you hate it and it sticks with you for the rest of your life. And that's one of those situations where like it just rankles him whenever we call him that. He's like, don't call me that in front of my kids.
So is that your nickname? Was Jed Rock?
Jed Rock. Yeah, that was Chris Hardy that gave me that. We were just kind of sitting around. Chris Hardy and I had this thing where every time we went on the road, if it was a major city, we would end up at a Hooters. If it was someplace like Regina, we would just do our best. But so we would end up at a Hooters, and he would be like, Jed Rock and I would like to have, and he would always refer to me as Jed Rock. He would never use my Christian name. So Chris Hardy was a good time.
That's the reason I wore number 8.
Personalities. Yeah, he was a safety, University of Manitoba quarterback, could kick the ball, could do just about anything. He didn't really do anything great, but he could do everything good enough to keep him on the roster, and that's what you're looking for as a Canadian. So,
yeah, you like Jed has a cool nickname, like Jed Rock. Like that's. Yeah,
I was pretty pleased with that. It could have been a lot worse. Let's put it that way.
Like, did people ever call you Robbie or Jedster, or did they ever try stuff like that?
My sisters would call me Deadly Jedley. That's what they used to call me.
Cool nickname.
I don't know if I like that one, but I used to call my sister. Her name is Kim. I used to call her Cambodian, and and I used to call my sister Kelly the Smelly Belly.
Oh, there you go. They love that. That's good stuff.
They don't like that.
All right, Jed Roberts joining us on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. So here we go, buddy. The Elks are 1-4. I'll just read. We had a very passionate email earlier that we read from a pretty upset. Like, he wasn't upset, like emotional. He's just like disappointed, upset. Lonnie put in the nasty chat a few minutes ago. Regrettably, I've too often said to my wife or whoever I've gone to an Elks game with over the past 10 years, that was the worst game I've ever seen. This week's effort was awful beyond belief. And my dad didn't go Sunday, but I went with my mom, and she was just like, this is as bad as anything. Like, it reminded me of the game they were shut out a couple years ago when Cornelius was the quarterback. Well, let's just start small picture with that game. What did you see on Sunday?
Well, I actually thought they started out good. I thought the first couple of series, you could see them kind of, the team sort of probing each other to see what they could get away with. And I think when it just seemed to implode after Tre threw that long interception, when that ball just it was like a punt. He could have fair caught it, and then after that, it just got progressively worse. And I felt like BC was playing like a read zone, and Tre just couldn't. Tre, it's one of these things. Tre's an interesting guy because it seems like if you take his first read away, he panics. And even though he's sitting in the pocket now, and I think they've been working with him to like stay in the pocket, which I think kind of takes away from what makes him so good. I think he should be moving the pocket. I think he should be rolling him out. I think he should be doing things that I don't think he's a drop back passer. I think, and another thing that is a bit of a puzzle to me is I don't really think he has a good relationship with his receivers. I don't think they're on the same page. I think it's a communication thing. If you look at their stats, their leading receiver is Dunbar. And then after that, it's just kind of a hodgepodge of guys with, in the mid-teens. I think and the oddest stat is Zach Mathis with 12 catches for 92 yards for a 4.6 average. As a wide receiver, if your average is 4.6, you're not getting a first down. You know what I mean? And so, that begs the question, do they need to start looking at bringing some guys in? I heard they were shopping around for receivers. And I don't think if you look at Tracy Ham, who's very similar in terms of how he plays with Tre Ford, he always had a relationship with his slots, right? Like, he's not going to throw it to his wideouts with much proficiency because he's not known for his arm strength. But, he had Craig Ellis. Like, Tracy would throw it to Craig or he'd throw it to Tom Richards. And can you name anybody else on the roster really that has kind of stood up and said, I want to be the guy. I want to make that first down catch? You don't really see it other than Dunbar, It's just a weird offense right now. No rhythm. It doesn't really seem that they have any plan. It doesn't really look like organized. It's odd. I can't really put my finger on it. But the thing is that you can say that about the Cornelius loss where they got shot out. I would argue that this team is very talented, and I think that they'll figure it out. I don't know. It's 40 years ago. No, it wasn't that long. It was a while ago. So 30 years ago, I think, yesterday, that we gave up 713 yards to Matt Dunnigan.
Oh,
we went 13-5 that year.
Right.
So you're going to have a bad day, right? And the thing about when you've got a bit of a losing culture, things tend to snowball. And when it snowballs like that, it can get away from you in a hurry. And then guys are just kind of hanging their heads. And then when you lose a leader like Jake Serezna, that has a really tangible effect. I mean, if you were at the game, you would have seen every player from both teams come out to the field to send him off. And that says a lot about who Jake is, right? And I talked to Jake after the game. He says he'll be fine. And I think that the early indications are it's a bone bruise. He'll probably miss a game or two. But if you lose a guy like Jake, that's tough. You can't replace a guy like that. There's nobody on the waiver wire waiting around like Jake. So I think they'll get it figured out. It'll be a bit of a rough ride. I think they'll take their lumps. But I like this team's chances. I think they'll sort it out.
Jed Roberts, AA alum, joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. Jed, is this something where you got to look at the play calling from offensive coordinator Jordan McSimic to try and get the most out of this team? Because like you said, I mean, watching that game, that offense just had no rhythm, nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the run the ball. I think that's a huge part of the CFL because it opens up so much more in your passing game. They ran the ball 6 times to their starting running backs.
I agree.
Is this something where McSimic needs to tweak this a little bit more and dial it in and maybe come with a better game plan next game?
When they had McAdoo last year, that was one thing that he really did a good job of, was game planning for the run. And I don't really feel like, because I watched early in the game when they tried to run, and it seemed like BC knew exactly when they were running, and they would overload that side, and then whoever it was getting the ball would just have to cut back and try to get what he could coming back, to the backside A or whatever. And I agree with you. Yeah, I think, it's a tough business, man. And you're only as good as your last game. And they weren't very good last game. So, and I don't think I'm letting the defense off the hook, because the defense took their chances of being really bad too. They were in position to make plays and they didn't make them, and it's the same thing as I'm talking about with the receivers on offense. You've got to make plays when the ball is in the air. You can't just, and then that one in the end zone where the kid caught it right on the goal line and the defender tried to go for the interception, man, just knock it down, dude. You know what I mean?
Right through his hands. I know.
Yeah, went right through his hands. But if you're not going to catch it, knock it down. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to catch it. Like, I don't know. It's a mystery. It was one of those games where I just couldn't really. I think the guy that emailed in was right. It was a weird game. It was one of those ones where you just like, what the heck is going on? I mean, the game presentation was awesome. You had the babies in the end zone, doing the crawling race. You had the dinosaurs. You had the kid like run over the play card and then get up and run back over. And he actually ended up getting the win because he actually touched the thing where they go by crowd noise. I mean, everything else was going right. They had the biplane circling their stadium. I thought the in-game presentation was amazing. The punter was incredible, off the charts. I've never seen such good punting. The guy might be in the best in the league right now. So there are some good things happening. It's just when you get a game like that, you just got to take this can. And I don't know if they play BC again, but I would just throw that film away and just move on to the next one. So.
Is that something, Jed, where you think that there is, like you said, this is a talented football team?
Yeah.
And you look on the additions that were made on the defensive side of the ball and the money that was spent bringing in some top end talent. Is that maybe why you're holding out a little bit of hope here, specifically for the defensive side of the ball, to say that group will gel as the season runs along here?
Yeah, it'll happen. And the thing about when you've got a team that's struggling is it's tough to win the early ones, right? Because that's a confidence thing. And if you don't have that culture, we've had such a revolving door in this town for so long. It's just been hard to kind of, first of all, kind of get to know any of the players because, they're gone tomorrow. So this group is getting to know each other, particularly on the back end. You got a lot of new kids on the defensive backfield, and it takes a while for those guys to figure out their communication. And so I have a confidence that they'll figure it out. I think that, the defense will probably surprise you. I'm a little bit concerned about who's going to replace Jake, because you don't replace a guy like that. The leadership and the talent and the inspirational plays that he makes, that interception was something else, even though he dropped it. I'm sure he'd be embarrassed to, but when you need a play, a guy like that's the guy that will get it for you, and then this team needs to get some pressure on the quarterback. Like, I haven't seen that, there's no pressure. There's no interceptions, I mean, you're not going to win the game if you're on the minus side of the over under every game. So, I don't know, man. Both sides of the ball, they just need to go back to the drawing board and come up with something. So
I got one more here for you, Jed. Jed Roberts, AA alum, joining us here. This came in from a listener, from GM Parisian. He said wanted to get your opinion. Where does the D line of Leroy Blue, Benny Goods, Melvin Hunter, Errol Martin, and you stack up historically in the CFL? In your opinion?
Well, we were pretty good. You know, we had we actually set the CFL record for most sacks in a game in 1993 with 13. And guess who got the 13th sack?
Oh, wow. Oh, Jed, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it was against Toronto in 1993. And you know what? With us, you didn't have to run man or anything like that. We could just get four-man pressure. And that's what every defense aspires to do, is get four-man pressure. And I don't really see that with this group. I think this group has to send an extra guy. And with that, you know, you're gambling because now you've got an opening in the backfield. And the backfield isn't communicating well enough to be able to cover those open areas, right? And it's all about playing with leverage and playing to your help. And all of that requires very consistent. I mean, Jay, I know you know this. You're playing safety. You communicated with your halfbacks, and your halfbacks knew where you were going to be all the time. I don't really see that right now. It's a bit of a revolving door back there.
Okay, last one, Jed, and I guess it's one of the biggest questions, not the only one, but it's the position, right? Is it time for Fajardo to start? Where are you with the quarterback situation?
You know, I think, yeah. I mean, you look at the last game, there was just nothing. You know, I think you have to change it. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect things to change, right? Like, I think, you know, if nothing else, it'll give Tre a bit of an inspiration to maybe come out with a little bit more. I think as a quarterback, you have to take chances. And I feel like he's a little bit too tentative right now. He's holding on to the ball. He's like, I think you just have to pull the trigger, man. He has to like indulge that gunslinger side of him. You know, I think he waits for guys to get open. I think there's just got to be that timing. And Fajardo's that guy I was watching when he got in there, he just threw it. Like he wasn't necessarily where he just would let his guy go out and make a play. And that touchdown that he had, that's exactly what happened. Like his guy went under the ball and got the ball. You got to have that trust that your guy's going to make a play as opposed to like waiting for him to be open. I think that there's timing issues, but I have a confidence that they're not every game's going to be like that. I think there's going to be games where, you know, they're going to come in, they're going to show up, and I think that people will be pleased. But it's going to take a while. Like this is a team in rebuild. I think it's going to take a while for this thing to get turned around. I think we've got the right people in place in ownership, right people in place in management. You know, we need to take a look at our defensive coaches and our offensive coaches in terms of like coordinating, because like that last game, there just wasn't really anything that was going right. So it'd be interesting to see how they respond to this next one.
Yeah. Jed,
always a bye week.
Yeah, well, they can't lose this week, though. I had a sarcastic buddy who emailed me if he could pick the bye week over the Elks in a pool that I run. So, but yeah, hopefully they come out with a lot more fire next week against the Riders. Jed, thanks a lot for checking in. Love having you. We'll talk to you again soon. Hope the family's doing well, too. We'll see you soon.
Hey, you too, buddy. Take care.
It's Jed Roberts, Double E alum. Always entertaining, always informative. Two things we love on this show. So he just kind of said, well, don't you just have to change the quarterback because you got to change something?
Well, there is that, because if the team around you sees that you're just okay with, you know, kicking the same ball down the same road and not getting any results, well, yeah, that's not really good for the morale of the team.
Yeah.
So maybe a spark like Cody Fajardo, and that's another thing I disagree with in that, which I thought was quite a well-written email, was that Cody Fajardo's best days are behind him. I don't necessarily know that that's true, and nobody here certainly would. So I'd say give him a shot. Sure. He's playing against his former team.
Cody Fajardo's 33. That's not old for quarterbacks.
No.
I mean, if you're good, you can play for a long time.
Yes.
And Fajardo coming in for this game doesn't mean Ford never starts again.
Not at all.
If that's what they decide to do.
Yep.
It was interesting, though, that how he said Ford doesn't appear to be, what did he say, have good communication with his receivers or not on the same page?
Yeah, not on the same page.
I don't think he meant that they don't get along or whatever.
No.
It's just there's that certain...
It's all about timing.
Yeah.
It's all about timing, and it seems to be off.
An exact... I mean, you might say, okay, you're running a 16-yard in. Well, it's never...
Things happen.
Like when you were told as a safety, okay, you're 14 yards off the ball. Well, sure, depending on what you see.
Unless I see something else that I need to address.
You're 11 yards off the ball. Right. So, and maybe that's what it is. Tre's not picking up, okay, if I see this, I just know this guy's going to do this. You know, like...
Well, nothing like practice to get over that.
Well, they got a lot to figure out. Now, again, like I said, maybe that's the worst game of the year. Maybe they're never going to play worse. Maybe they're closer to the team that beat Ottawa and hung in there against Winnipeg. I hope that is the case. You can always text us on the afternoon inbox, 780-218-9999, presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant. All you can eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday. That is from 4 to 10 p.m. You'll hear from the new assistant coach of the Edmonton Oilers, Paul McFarland, when we get back.
Newly hired Oilers assistant coach Paul McFarland and goaltender coach Pete Aubry joined EST today. McFarland checking in with the Nielsen Show, chatting about his role with the team, his pathway into coaching, expressing his excitement to get things going with the Oilers, while Aubry shared his approach to coaching in tandem and what he's been doing to prep for the upcoming season. NFL news sees Trey Smith re-upping in Kansas City, 4-year deal, $94 million total with the Chiefs. Meanwhile, 24-year-old Sauce Gardner becomes the highest paid cornerback in league history, inking a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Jets. On the court, Summer League action has the Raptors battle the Nuggets, 7 games on the slate, while in the MLB All-Star Game, it's scheduled for 6 o'clock. 2 Jays players in the game, Alejandro Kirk and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring. Proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years, their West End showroom is open 7 days a week. You can also shop online at paramountflooring.ca. The oil understood for GCL Diesel is next. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
The oil stream.
Yes, they were 12th this year. Look at the last 7 years. Like, don't cherry pick stats, okay? Look at the last 7 years. This is the best power play in the history of hockey. And you want to pick on it because it had a down year going 12th. Wake up. Wake up and look at the stats and watch the games.
You're the best.
Like, well,
I love
seriously.
it. No, you're right.
The oil stream, presented by Boston Pizza. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons at noon. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Summer in Edmonton means 3 things: warm weather, long nights, and plenty of sports. From the lake to the links, you can boost your summer fun with hundreds of casino games, live betting on your favorite sports teams, and access to popular lotteries. All in one app, anywhere in the province. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code YAG50 to claim a $50 free bet. That's promo code YAG50 for a $50 free bet on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Avocado and feta dip, passion fruit cheesecake, and cocktails that taste like summer in a glass. Try the new feature menu at The Banquet. Refreshing, craveable, and made for sunny days. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino on K97 proudly present Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly. Featuring small band and acoustic performances, Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly in the venue July 25th. Tickets at rivercreekresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Kayaks, bikes, camping gear? Make space for summer fun with Sentinel Storage. Spend more time on adventures with your outdoor gear and less time looking for them. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca.
I don't know what's going on with this dog wearing a cape just walked through the studio.
He had a New York accent.
Like, why wasn't he? If he's got a cape, why isn't he flying?
You know,
There's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog? I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
Never saw it.
Never saw our dog with a cape.
When would you ever see a dog with a cape?
I never saw one.
Oh, my goodness.
He did come in and say, "What's up?"
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Hope you're having a great day. We certainly are here at Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports, presented by Play Alberta. Make your bets count for you and everyone else with the Play Alberta app, with hundreds of player prop bets on the biggest leagues, NFL, CFL, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, you name it. You're not just playing for fun. You're supporting your province. Play Alberta revenue helps fund Alberta programs and services. Deposit today with the promo code YEG50 and get an EST exclusive $50 free bet to get started, which is pretty good. So Ref Week's going to continue tomorrow with current CFL referee Justin McInnes. And he's been in how many years has he been in the CFL? I'm not even sure. We'll ask him. We'll get the story.
We'll have to.
I mean, it was wake up and stroll down to the CFL office one day and say, hey, make me a ref. Would have been a lot of work put into that for sure. And you played what with him? Wildcats high school, or what was it?
We played Team North together.
Okay.
Then we played Team Alberta together. And then Wildcats.
Oh, amazing.
He was a kicker / receiver.
Now,
we actually called him Kicky McKicky because his last name was McInnes.
When was the last time you would have talked to him?
Oh, then?
You think he'll remember you?
I'm sure.
He better.
I'll have words.
Throw his flag. We got some limericks here. Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Jay at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. You want to do VRs?
Sure.
Okay.
MLB All-Star Game. Let's wager on the under. No raking tonight unless it's us and our plunder. Each arm gets an inning. National squad winning. Is the best Marvel film Thor? Love and Thunder?
No, it is not. He knows that. Tube Socks, the big EST moves on the way. Just 2 weeks till they sashay away. They're ditching the gloom for a big, fresh new room. Let's hope they don't forget to bring Jay. Yeah, we leave you in the closet, locked in there.
Hello?
There's something. It seems like we didn't bring something over. No, all the furniture's accounted for. Cut to you in the closet, like,
Hello?
Has anybody seen my stapler? Have you read Bronco Nick?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Here we go. As we march on through summer, having no hockey is a bummer. Enjoy the sun, have some fun, and enjoy the band with the one-armed drummer.
Oh, there we go. Still yet another Def Leppard reference. Appreciate that, Bronco Nick. If you're taking us in on YouTube today, don't forget, hit the thumbs up. Let's see if we can get over 100 here in the final half hour of the show.
Click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb.
All right, let's do the oil understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Someday I'm going to do this right at the end of the show. Then I'm going to pause, and then the show will end.
Yes.
And then we'll come back at the start of the next show, and I'll say, understood.
Yes.
That might be an idea for someday.
I think we should.
That'd be really hard to... I'd have to really plan that and remember it, which I could very well forget. So the Oilers have the new coaching staff. Peter Aubry was on with Hernan and Gager. Great interview this morning at about 20 after 8. Paul McFarland, the new assistant coach, was on the Nielsen show with Dustin. I guess Dustin and Trev. Lieutenant Eric's off this week. So some of the highlights from that interview. First of all, just sort of the process of getting the job. Like Dustin asked him, do you apply or are you reached out to? How does that work?
Well, I think it's in all of these situations, it's mutual, right? I mean, for me, this situation, the people that are in place within the organization, obviously having a chance to work with Chris, I have a ton of respect for him. And then you look at the players that they have, it's a pretty special situation, very unique, even in the NHL, which is, obviously the best league in the world. So it was, I think, mutual, but for me personally, just really excited to have a chance to be a part of it and do everything I can to help our players get better and take a step.
And Dustin also asked McFarland about some of his influences as a coach.
Well, I think it always starts for me. DJ Smith was the first person that gave me a coaching job. I was actually his captain my last year at junior. I think he was really the first coach for me that really took the time to go the extra mile. And we've obviously stayed close and have a great relationship since. But he's one of the people. I think I had a chance to play for Pete DeBoer Jr., who was very structured, very detailed. Was an excellent role model for me as well. So there's been different people along the way. I think I've been really fortunate to work with a lot of great coaches. I think every step of the way. Even recently, I was working with Seattle with Dave Haxtell. I think there's been a lot of people that have really had an influence. You take little bits and pieces from everybody, but ultimately, I think in this job or role, you always have to be yourself, and everyone's going to be unique and have their own way to do things. And but it's all great experiences to go through those things.
All right, yeah, interesting names in there. DJ Smith, Peter DeBoer, obviously, who the Oilers got fired, sort of, but. Did you when you coach, do you actively think about, and I know you were coaching youth stuff, but nonetheless, when you coach, do you actively think of, I remember a coach that treated me this way, I want to emulate that? Or if you all of a sudden were the coach of the Huskies or the Wildcats or a high school team, were there guys you would specifically say, I liked how he did that, I'm going to flat out copy it?
That's an interesting question, because the ones I remember the most were things that I would never do to one of my players or put my players through.
Okay.
Which was usually, and this is a long time ago, so this is older times, but, verbally being berated in front of your team or having your teammate berated in front of you. That just does nothing for cohesion. One thing that's interesting is that You don't really need to sugarcoat things.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't. I think you're doing a disservice to a player if you're trying to, tiptoe around a subject.
Okay,
be direct, be honest. Honesty in a coaching position,
but not
is
insulting. I'm not calling him a
wimp. You can't
or whatever.
do that because you're really then there's no point.
Because then he's not going to hear the message of how to play better.
Absolutely not.
Right.
It deflects off because I don't want to hear that. But being direct, being an open line of communication. But direct and honest is never a bad recipe.
Okay, so the which Elk DB was it that you said should have knocked it down? I can't remember.
Johnson. I think
so pulling him aside and saying, "What are you doing? Are your hands made out of bread?
No,
you got the flimsiest hands I've ever seen."
Yeah.
You say,
"Hey, that was great coverage. You were there.
Yeah,
you could have picked it off." But because you went for the interception, it turned into a touchdown.
Like you can blatantly
get
say
that ball on the ground.
Like, could you blatantly say that cost us a touchdown?
Absolutely.
You got to get that
because that's
ball
honesty.
Right.
Because it did. Do your best just to not allow a touchdown that late in the half or in the first half.
Right.
That crushes us now going to the locker room.
Right.
Just knock it down. Live to fight another day. But great coverage.
Yeah, but that's a good point because if a coach, we were just using this as an example, but if a coach pulls him aside and insults whatever, then maybe he's thinking, I guess I didn't try hard enough to intercept it. As opposed to the coach.
Then you're overthinking your steps.
Then he's trying to think, okay, what does coach actually want me to do?
Right. Because it was great coverage.
Right.
He ran that route for that receiver. It just so happened that he went for the interception and it didn't work out. But time and place means so much in sports. And at that time and place of the game, just keep him out of the end zone was the goal.
Right.
And you could have easily done that. Right. I was beside myself here, like, just knock it down, man. Knock it down. Even if you did get your hand on that ball, that would have been a world-class interception.
Paul McFarland on the Nielsen Show earlier today, new Oilers assistant coach. He's going to be running the power play.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, there's no question. There's, I think everyone talks about it. That, there's some special players that you get a chance to work with. They've had a ton of success. So obviously we've all studied this power play for years as to what they do, but it's hard to replicate. So I think for me coming in, like I said, it starts with getting to know the players and working with them and having lots of conversations. But I think ultimately I want to continue to build on the things they've been great at or that are already seen as strengths. And then we have to continue to evolve and can't be afraid to try some different things and find ways to hopefully continue to improve it. But it's an exciting group. I think that's what makes this. Like I said, this situation so special to come into, and that's why I think I'm really excited about what's ahead.
Okay, so what would you expect him to bring his own twist to the Oilers' power play?
Tweak, yes.
Yeah.
Twist, no.
Okay.
I think those are two different things.
Okay.
But it's never a bad thing for players that have heard the same messaging for several years to hear just a fresh thought. Say, hey, if this doesn't work, like you brought up the cross seam passes, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously, as they moved on throughout the playoffs, that was shut down, right?
To an extent. Leon Draisaitl did score a one-timer goal in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final in overtime. True, it was a bit of a different setup how they worked the puck down low. Anyway,
but maybe a different thought how to get out of that and how to reposition yourselves and reset in a efficient manner that would lead to another scoring chance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's ever a bad thing and especially at this point, you've been with a coaching staff for quite a while. Obviously, Knobloch's newer, but now he's got some people that he trusts as well. And by all counts, I mean, Knobloch's been pretty impressive, right? Especially in some of the decisions he's made at critical times of the season, as the playoffs. So you have to give him that opportunity, that trust to build the proper coaching staff. This is one of his guys that obviously respects him highly. And I don't know that you're going to, reinvent the power play, but tweaks, yes. You?
Yeah. Well, I talked about this with Get Dusty yesterday. I mean, I'm not saying the personnel is bad. Could you put Wallman high point, take Nuge off the first power play, have 2D? Could you move Bouchard to the left side a little bit so there's a one-timer there? And again, not all the time, but just maybe different looks. I always push back against any listener that says they got to stop trying to feed Draisaitl with the one-timer. Mm-hmm. I say, no, they don't.
Right.
Because even if it's taken away 10 times in a game, he might score on the 11th try, and you still get a goal, which is the most important thing. But maybe there's okay, Connor, when you're coming down and that pass is 70% there, try to get to Leon. If that pass is 30% there, here's option B.
Yes.
Okay,
that's a tweak.
Or right,
yep.
Or Leon, sure. Here's where, or now it's going to go. Here's a pass to somebody else who then he's the one who passes it to. I mean, I'm simplifying it for this to the sake of argument, because I obviously this guy is not going to come in and be like, okay, guys, forget about what Gully did.
Yeah,
here's the real power play. They're going to be like, come on.
Well, because
and the Oilers have said some of their power play is just road hockey, retrieve the puck and read off each other.
Well, and you have two of the top players in the world on said power play. They're going to want to have, maybe not have fun's the right word. They're going to want to show off their skill.
Right.
Because they can. So let them you do you. Here's some tweaks that we can make. Because as you so eloquently referred to, I believe it was yesterday on the
oil stream.
That this is not a bad power play.
No, it is not.
Yes, they had a bit of a dip.
I know 12th is somewhat disappointing, but they still were pretty good.
And years prior have been much better than that. So this is not a bad power play. It doesn't need to be revamped. But yes, you can always offer some new, pitch some new ideas.
And I wonder about, is there a way to get more shots from Bouchard on the power play?
Sure.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
On the half wall or like...
Yeah, I might move him around a little bit.
Move him around
a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
McFarland talking to Nielsen this morning about the rest of the summer.
There's lots going on. I mean, obviously lots of video that I can watch to just continue to get more familiar with the players. I think, but also, there's like every coaching journey, there's a transition of getting, family to Edmonton as well. So fortunately in this situation, it's a shorter move, but there's lots going on, lots of work to be done, obviously, to get ready for training camp. And I was saying this yesterday, even talking to a few of the staff. I think, obviously Edmonton's been on a long run, and everyone's in need probably for a little bit of a breather and some rest and recovery before the year gets going again. I feel like I could start tomorrow. So we're all in a few different places, but I'm excited to get started in training camp and look forward to getting to Edmonton.
Well, he'll be ready to go. I'm sure he'll watch a lot of tape, as he referenced, over the offseason, but he was coaching the Hitmen in the Western Hockey League. And it's interesting how he's ready to go. Probably Bowman and Knobloch are now, okay, wife, kids, what are your names again? Where are we going? Because so the season ended, you do the draft, you do free agency, then you do the coaching staff. They're now in we better have a little bit of a break mode here and reconnect with our families. By the way, did you know last year during the Cup final, I interviewed Chris Knobloch's cousin?
No.
So I call the town of Imperial, Saskatchewan, right? Somebody answers the phone. I wish I could remember her name. Hey, this might seem out of the blue. My name is Reid Wilkins. I host the Oilers broadcast on 630 Ched in Edmonton. I'm always looking for different stories and different ways to talk about things. Chris is such a great story, coaching the team. He was a Golden Bear. He grew up in Imperial, which I know is a pretty small town. I know his parents are there. Or is there another family member or a childhood friend who might come on and just talk about seeing him coach the Oilers and what he's like. I'm not expecting any tales out of school, but just some perspective. Oh, yeah, I'm his cousin. I can do it. It's awesome.
Oh, my God.
She came on. She was great. I wish I could remember her name, but it was a great interview. Huh. That's a total tangent. Why did I bring that up?
You got good luck calling random cities' offices.
I really
You knew the person from Evansburg.
Random small towns.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh, and speaking of which, at Art Walk, when I went there on Sunday, took my mom to visit my dad. There was a woman around my age talking to my dad, who was like 2 years behind me in school and was talking to her old principal. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
You never did show the picture, though, that you took and sent me.
Do we have the picture with Alan?
Would have been yesterday.
We still have it? Yeah, sorry, Coob. We made you do all that work to get it ready, and now we're calling for it 24 hours late. We can get it during the commercial or before the end of the show. Because I bought a painting from your brother. He's very talented, too.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Knows a lot about football, too.
Him?
Yeah.
What is...
No?
Sure. He played it. He played Bears football.
Oh, was he on the team, too?
Yeah. Not at the same time as I. There it is.
There it is. That is Alan Milne and me and the painting that I purchased. He was kind of in McIntyre Park there. So he was about a block and a half off White Ave.
Yeah.
My dad was right on White Ave.
Oh, that's
really
cool.
good stuff. Like this, I like what he does with the colored trees, and he said that's kind of his trademark.
Yeah, it's
so
very...
if you're on the audio stream, it's kind of a mountain scene with a lake and trees in the foreground, but they're bright non-tree colors, which makes it cool.
Yeah, very vibrant, very crystal clear as terms of, it's not a water painting by any imagination. But Alan Milne art. Yeah. Check him out.
Yeah.
Does your dad have a website?
No, he used to put stuff on Facebook, but I don't know how much he posts anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, my dad had a great time too. We are in the banquet studio. The banquet summer feature menu is here. Bacon-wrapped pickles, spicy Korean noodle bowls, and cocktails like the Pink Lady and Blueberry Hibiscus Smash. Try now at the banquet. Get real, play hard. Oh, my goodness. Words of the day when we get back. If you're on YouTube and you haven't clicked the like button, give us a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get over 100 by the end of the show. Here comes the Coop.
Newly hired Oilers assistant coach Paul McFarland and goalie coach Peter Aubry joined EST today, having McFarland check in on the Nielsen Show, chatting about his role with the team, his pathway into coaching, expressing his excitement to get things going with the Oilers, while Aubry shared his approach to coaching a tandem and what he's doing to prep for the upcoming season. From Utah, Michael Carcone has signed a one-year league minimum deal with the Mammoth. That's an extension to his contract. He had 19 points in 53 games with the team last season. NFL news sees Trey Smith re-upping in Kansas City on a 4-year, $94 million contract. Meanwhile, 24-year-old Sauce Gardner becomes the highest-paid cornerback in league history, inking a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Jets. On the court, summer league action as the Raptors battle the Nuggets with 7 games on the slate, while in the MLB All-Star game, there's 2 Jays playing in the contest, Alejandro Kirk and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That gets going at 6 o'clock. The final segment and the words of the day brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
EST Afternoon.
What is the relationship building process of being the new goalie coach with established NHL goaltender?
Geez, I wish I could just tell you here's a secret sauce or what I'd like to use. I'd like to think I'm fairly in tune and aware of others and their needs. And I've been fortunate to speak with both Calvin and Stuart. It's been a nice start to get to know those guys.
EST Afternoons, weekday afternoons 1 to 3, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click.
All right, good to have you tuning in. Wrapping up the show here along with Jason Milne. I'm Reid Wilkins. Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. If you want to text us, please do so. 780-218-9999 is the number. It's the afternoon inbox presented by River Career Resort and Casino. What are you doing? He's working the speed bag.
Baby.
Home of the Tap 25 restaurant where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. Riding the Pine and the Nasty Chat. That's our chat on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube here. Let's push that number up before we go. He says, I missed the 1 o'clock hour. How did the new goalie coach sound? I thought he was good. I mean, he sounded focused, sounded energetic. I mean, what you would expect to see. Look, I'm not going to listen to a 10-minute interview, but, oh, that guy sucks.
What a hire!
Or like, 970 team save percentage. I mean, they sound good. They know what they're doing. They're NHL. He's,
Funny story with him and Gage.
Gager.
They crossed
Gager
paths
cost him his playing career.
in Germany. He didn't. He went on to, but if you haven't, you can go back. I mean, you can look at every one of these shows on our YouTube channel. You can look at them on our podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just follow Edmonton Sports Talk. Follow EST Afternoons, follow The Hangout, follow The Reid Wilkins Show, follow The Oil Stream, Two Guys. All of them can be found in podcast form.
Yes. And we'll have another ref week feature tomorrow. So we had umpire Corey Davis yesterday at 4, basketball ref Karen Lassuk today at 4. They're both incredible. And current CFL referee Justin McInnes joining us tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And we actually may just do more refs next week. Or double up. Who knows?
We might just keep it going.
We can just do ref. We can just do ref life.
Ref life. Let's do it.
All right, time for the words of the day.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
First word of the day, witherword. Witherword.
Oh, that's a good one. Hang on, I just got to check something if I have the name of Knobloch's cousin, because somebody's asking who it is. No. Hang on. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. I don't know if I have it in my contacts. Oh yeah, it was Jocelyn Freeman. Yes, it was Jocelyn Freeman. Somebody said, is that who his cousin was? Yeah, it must be, because I have her information. Okay. Witherword. Well, I know how to spell wither, and I'm guessing it's like 4 words, so I'm going to say WITHERWARD. All right. And I will say the meaning is the process of declining or decaying.
I'll use it in a sentence.
All right.
The balloon drifted higher, and the child wondered whitherward the winds would take it.
In which direction? It's a query about which direction something is.
So 1.5 out of 2. The actual, it's toward what place in what direction.
Okay.
It's an adverb.
Interesting.
So 1.5 out of 2.
Toward what place, or the sentence kind of gave it away. But
for witherward, how could you use that in an EST sentence, Reid? Well, we're
that's a good question.
Moving witherward.
I'm sure I could, Jay. Allow me to stall.
We're going to be moving witherward the West End.
Yes, true.
Right? Second word of the day, debonair.
Hey, Coob, how are you? Debonair. Debonair would be sort of dashing and very well presented, as in James Bond looked debonair in his tuxedo at the baccarat table.
Attractive, confident, and carefully dressed.
Okay, so I more or less understood it.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah, I've been good.
3.5 out of 4.
So I've spelled all 4 words this week, though I didn't find any of them overly challenging.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not trying to make them, I'm not trying to stump you. This is a learning experience for everybody.
For all involved.
I want somebody to go home tonight and say the word witherword around their dinner table or debonair.
Right.
You know, that's the purpose of this, is to learn new words. So I'm not always going to go
gave me
for
one last week that was like, oh my, was that you that gave me the empty beer glass one, or was that Coob?
That was me. It was like cynophobia.
Yeah, it was a phobia, so I knew it was a fear of something, but...
A fear of an empty beer glass?
Yes, that's what it was.
Everyone?
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody has that. This whoever invented that word must be extremely...
No, it's Norm. Norm.
Well, that's Norm from Cheers. Yeah.
He would have that.
What do you got, Norm? Cynophobia. Better fill me up, or whatever the word was. You gave me a couple convoluted words, though, Coop.
Oh, it's all
they were
like
hard.
A German word, like quench.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking of though.
Then there's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog? I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
Yeah, what's it doing in the movie 50 years later after you watched it as a kid?
Nobody likes to see a dog beat up on camera, but hey.
What are you going to do? Mike Francesa, who is a broadcasting legend, but his Superman take was a little interesting.
It was interesting.
That's okay. He doesn't like those types of movies, but he still went. Mm-hmm. Maybe just confirm that he hated them.
And expected something totally different.
Right. The Edmonton Sports Talk live stream resumes at 6 a.m. with the Nielsen Show. Jay and I are back at 3. Edmonton Sports Talk presented by Play Alberta, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. On behalf of Zachary Kubish and the Glue Guy, I'm Reid. Have a good night.